I was waiting for Tashunka to hit the link. You're not hitting the link. What the hayskis? Damn it. I might have to be back right now, I guess. Let me see. I don't know if I could drop it again or see what's going on from here. I think I have to stay back there, no? Oh, no, it's right here. Send invite to the guest. Okay, I'm going to send it again to you, bro. All right. I got to send it. Send it to you on your IG. I sent it to your phone already. Let me get you an IG. Where is you at? There you are at that phone. Okay. Hit that link. Hit that link, bro. Should be able to come up. Hit the fucking link. What's up, Bigfoot? I see your actions. I tried to figure it out myself, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what you do, all right. I thought it was going to be fucking boom boom. It probably was, but, you know. Sassy said, hello, hello, hello. What's going on, people? All right. Virginia, what's going on? Tashunka, come on. Hit the link. I sent you the link on your phone. I sent you the link on the IG. Just hit it. Let's go. All right. All right. In the meantime, what's up, people? I'll see you guys. Virginia. Have you started your new job, Virginia? 410. Justin, what's up, man? Sassy said, not much, just relaxing. That's right, that's right. Damn, look at that hair all fucked up. No, just kidding. 410 said, Crusted, what's up? You did? And what happened? Oh, man, he's having a hard time getting up here, I think. He said he did. Um, I just sent you one on IG. If you're looking at the live, I just sent you one on IG. You can get in from there. You can get in from your phone. I can send you some fresh links again. I'll send you a link on both of them. What do you think? Are you watching, Tashunka? Damn it. He said he hit it. Maybe he hit it too hard. Shit. Mountain Girl said, Crescent. Ooh, fucking woo. What's up, Mountain Girl? What's up, Gem State? I see you, 410. Oh, you motherfuckers. Hell yeah. All right, let's go. Tashunka, hit that link. Man, why is it not working out here? Okay. What could I do? Wait a little bit, see if you either get it from your phone or your IG. I dropped it in both. But pick up the latest one. Hulk smashed the link and broke it. All right, Tashunka, I'm gonna drop the link again in both of your phone and your IG. Okay? Are you watching? Damn it! I don't think he's even watching. Hold on. Are we there? Are we there? Are we there? Hello, hello, hello. Buenos dias, senores and senores. Come on, you gonna let me back in, fool? Come on, baby. Hello, are we there? Okay, where's it at? Can you guys see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I good or not? Tell me if I'm good or not. Damn it. I wanna know what you're thinking. What's up, Taco? Sugar Taco. Oh shit. Look at that. Who is Tashunka? An artist, etc.? He's an extraordinaire. You're good. Okay, I'm good. So then, shit, I don't see where to. Hold on. Where to accept the thing of the thing? Son of a bitch. Um, where's that ad bullshit? It's not right here. All right, Tashunka, I don't know what's going on. If you're watching, that's a light. Okay, that's nothing. Shit, motherfucker. Shit. Okay, it's all already. Um, fuck. I don't want to go back and kill it. Oh, right here, right. That's right. Oh, oops. Wait. I got it right here. Um, should be right here. Hold on. Touch it. Okay, should be right here. I'm gonna send you it one more time. All right. I'm gonna send you it one more time. Where on your phone or something? Okay, I'm gonna send it to your phone. Send it one more time. Boom. Okay. Now I'm just gonna wait for you then. Hit that one. Hit that one. We good. We could see it. We could hear you. Okay, cool. Wow. What's up, man? What's up,
Not
brother?
much. Yeah, I can see you and everything. I ain't never done it that way before.
Yeah, this is a trip. I never done it myself. Now I know how I could do this.
Yeah, I was using another app. I can't remember the name of it.
StreamYard?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and then they started charging and shit. And
Yeah, no. What they were charging for the first level wasn't bad. It was like $25, but once they got to like 40 something, I was like, "Fuck, bro, you're not even adding anything new."
yeah, I hear you.
So what's
Amy's
going?
jamming on Minecraft over
Oh yeah,
there. Yeah.
she
Hey,
gets
what's
down
up,
on that.
Exes? Yeah, she actually does some cool shit, man. I told her she ought to do a YouTube channel. There's all kinds of people to get into that.
Gaming, yeah. Okay, so
And
everybody, I want to introduce my guest right here. This is my brother Mark, aka Tashunka Witco. That's
what's
right.
left of me? Yeah, what's left of me?
What's that to you? Hey, we all
And
still here. Some
the
of us hanging
Tashunka
by a thread.
Witco, that's Tashunka Witco. It's spelt different, but that's crazy horse in the Sioux language.
Right.
And I didn't want to spell it exact because he was a hero of mine since I was a kid, but nobody has taken his name in the Sioux Nation since
Right.
he was murdered. So I figured for me to do so would be disrespectful. So it's kind of like retiring a jersey or something. You just don't do that. So I put it close, but I spelt it different.
Yeah. Out of respect, pretty much, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my boy there. Crazy horse.
That's
My
right.
mother's on the Dawes rolls. She did get benefits when she was alive, but I've always been into Crazy Horse. He's a pretty interesting character.
What about the character of you?
Yeah, I'm a character. That's a
Um,
fact.
where hang on, I'm just setting this up right here. Okay, I barely found it. Um, okay, so where can we start? Where where are the roots? Where are the beginnings of um
Oh god.
Shunka here?
Uh oh god. I don't know.
What kind of kid were you? Did you move around a lot?
Well, I was pretty much a normal kid until yeah. I went to first through eighth grade. I guess six different schools. Uh,
Shit.
yeah, mom and dad divorced whenever I was pretty young, like around first grade, and then I lived with my mom till till fifth grade started. It's messed up. We were living right by Lambert Airport in St. Louis, and she lived in an apartment, and I was going to Iveland School at the time. That they've torn that down since then, but uh, a guy that used to babysit us, he raped her, and I didn't know that. I mean, you don't tell a young kid something like that. I didn't find that out till I was like 35 years old, living out in Arizona. So, uh, but she sent us to live with my dad because he said if she called the popo, he'd kill me and my brother.
I'm not sure if we're good on saying those words, but
Oh yeah, grape.
go
She
ahead.
got graped. But
Yeah.
long story short, what happened was is I went to live with my dad for fifth to eighth grade, and things were so bad there that my brother he had two bleeding ulcers. So she yanked us out of there, and he didn't have any paternal rights whatsoever after the divorce, none.
Right.
Uh, and I'm not gonna go into all that. That's my dad and my mom's business. But
Right.
the whole time I was there at my dad's, my stepmom would always say, "Your mother didn't love you. She didn't want you. That's why you ended up here."
That's a fucked
And
up shit to say. Yeah.
yeah, so when my mom yanked us out of there because my brother's spitting blood because of the stress and everything, uh, I thought, well, it's bad here, but at least he loves me. And that's when I started going crazy. Up until eighth grade, I was a normal kid. I fished, I rode my bike. I
All
didn't
the
get
normal
any
kid stuff.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me and my friends in eighth grade got into the liquor cabinet once, but I mean, that's it's chump change what came later. And the reason I started acting out at first when we moved over to my mom's is I thought, all right, if I start acting up, she'll send me back.
Right.
And
Right.
it's things snowball. Uh, just it got out of control over there on the east side of St. Louis.
So you were thinking, well, well, she'll take me back or whatever if I keep
I
acting
was
up.
thinking she'd end up wouldn't be able to deal with it and kick me out, and I'd have to go live back with my dad.
Okay, got
And
you. Then you go
and
back.
I mean it was terrible there. It was bad enough that, like I said, my brother. I remember the doctor because my dad couldn't even take us to the doctor. He had no parental rights whatsoever after the divorce,
Right.
and there were good reasons for that. But uh, you know,
That's to you guys.
I remember my mom taking me. We went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "What kind of environment is this child living in? He's got two bleeding ulcers. Do you know what kind of stress it takes to cause two bleeding ulcers?"
It's a lot of
And
stress. Yeah.
yeah, my mom yanked us out of there. Uh, and the messed up thing is when I got over to the east side of St. Louis, I just went haywire, man. I mean, off the rails haywire. It just
And
got worse and worse, like snowball. And
and that was into your teens, right? Your later
oh
teens.
god, I my mom tried getting me a lot of help. I mean, the places she sent me trying to get me help, nobody tried harder than her to, save me from myself.
Mm-hmm.
Several rehabs, psych wards, counselors,
You name
youth
it.
in need. And the
Yeah.
last psych ward she put me in, they kicked me out. Uh, I had some dude that used to chase bugs down the hallway trying to tell me in group what I was supposed to do. And yeah, we
Damn.
got in, we got into it in the chow hall, and I took it's like one of them White Castle napkin holders where the napkins come out both sides. I
Mm-hmm.
took that to his head, and they called. My mom told me in Arizona when me and Amy was out there. Said, yeah, they called me up and said you need to get your son. We can't handle him. And my mom said, what do you mean you can't handle him? You're a lockdown mental institution. You got him on Thorazine. Uh, Heavy tranquilizers. If you can't handle them, what am I supposed to do with them? And somebody suggested, you know, get a hold of the social workers, and they ended up I became a ward of the state after that. And
Damn.
then it was foster homes, couple foster homes, and I kept getting in fights in them. And then they sent me to
TBs.
Chaddock in Quincy, Illinois. So I turned 18.
Out in
And
Illinois, huh?
oh yeah, I landed doing time.
So,
Uh,
so you started off where in St. Louis?
yeah, I started off in out. It was upper middle class neighborhood where my dad and stepmom lived. Uh, St. Charles, Missouri,
Yeah.
and then from there, I moved over to the east side when my mom took us over there, East St. Louis, which is well, all St. Louis is bad now, but East St. Louis. I had a friend out in Arizona. This is kind of a funny story. His mom invited me and Amy to a barbecue, and she goes, Tanel said you're from St. Louis. We're from St. Louis too. Where did you live? And I said, I lived over on the east side. And she goes, honey, I'm black and I don't even go to the east side. she,
He's like, "Are
she,
you crazy? What the
yeah,
hell are you doing over there?"
well, she was cool as hell. She had this badass karaoke's, and because I got a deep voice, people think I can sing and I can't. And she kept trying to get me to sing, and I got enough alcohol in me. I sang my heart out. I can't. Amy don't even remember what I sung, but I got done, and she goes, "Sweetheart, don't ever sing it again." She said, "You just noised everybody." And I said, "I told you I can't sing." And she goes, "I know, darling. Now I believe you."
I'll tell you
But
one thing I learned about you is that you don't forget the lyrics.
oh no, no, there's only two things, and I don't know why. I don't retain almost everything. I got to keep rereading
Right.
or
To keep it there.
rewatching. But music and scripture, for some reason, those two things they just stick in my head. I got a virtual jukebox in my head.
Right.
But music, I think music is DNA wired into us.
Yeah.
Uh, it like when we were roofing, I roofed most of my life as a roofer, and we wouldn't start working unless the music was going. I mean, you had to
Right.
have the music because it's a miserable job, but
It was something to go to. Yeah.
yeah, and the music just gets you through it. When you get married and you're celebrating, you got the music. When you're depressed, you got the music. It just helps get you through.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Diana, how you
Hey,
doing, lady?
Tashunka, I was gonna say let's stop and see what the
Yeah,
people
I
been
seen
saying.
Diana. I
She's up
seen
in there.
uh actions too was in there.
We got actions. We got Sugar Taco. We got Sassy. We got Big Javi. We got CB Shenanigans. We got
Shenanigans, yeah,
damn
that's
Dan C Pepe. We got No More Locked Doors. We got 410 in here. We got. I'm trying to go back to everybody as much as I can. We got the
yeah, I'm
840
scrolling through
show.
too.
Mike and Juju Smoke Room. We got Burqueño. We got actions, of course. Yes. Gem State. I'm gonna go back over to where we were at right now. No More Locked
Have you
Door.
seen
No More Locked Door said, "Is that your twin?"
yeah, we both got the
Oh man. Um. Really don't go because what? Okay, let me see. Linda's in here. Yeah, we got a nice little crowd up in here.
have
Welcome,
you
people.
seen
Welcome. This is
overcoming
Tashanka here.
you seen
This,
overcoming native
no, I haven't
eagle?
seen him. Sometimes he's
Uh,
lurking though.
yeah,
Sometimes he's just watching.
he put a comment up on my video the other day, and it touched my heart, man. I was wanting to tell him thank you.
Tell him thank you right now. He's gonna rewatch it
Yeah,
anyways.
they watched the rerun.
Yeah, he'll
Thanks,
watch the
bro.
rerun.
No, it touched my heart though. He gave me a good compliment, and uh, most of my life I could take the call me an asshole, don't bother me, call me whatever.
Yeah.
But the compliments for a long time I had a hard time with. Uh, but I'm getting better at that too. It's I used to be real negative, focusing on all the shit from the past, and now I try to not do that. I try to think of what I got, the blessings I got, instead of, and bottom line, everything I went through, I put myself through it, because I chose to deal with the shit the way I did.
Right.
Um, you know, you got a lot of people go through bad stuff when they're kids, and they got the right to be angry and hurt, but it's how you deal with it. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Uh, Once I was out of that house, I can't blame nothing on mom and dad. I chose to deal with things the way I dealt with them. So ultimately, it all lands on me.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, and then it got to the point here where, you know everywhere I've been to, prison. Did time at Menard in Chester, Illinois, which is it was called a supermax back then. It was as
Wow.
high as it went, and then uh, county jail. I don't know how many times I've been at the county jail.
Damn it. And what was it usually for?
Just batteries. I got 37 battery charges.
God.
That's just in St. Clair County. I've been in jail in Texas,
That's basically
Oklahoma.
getting into fights.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they used to have this thing called cop out. I used to be an asshole, man. I mean, uh, I was an angry, pissed off kid, and every chance I got to take that out on somebody, I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was in prison where my heart really got softened. I gotta watch what I say, but there's this kid they'd take up in this room, and he'd come out, and I'd see that look in his eyes,
Yeah.
and I knew what was going on in there, and he was a neutron. He wasn't in an organization, and it got where there was a way made where I could help him, and that's the only good thing I did in prison. But he just seeing, I got tired of seeing how shitty human beings can be to each other, and
And it could be pretty fucking shitty.
yeah, in my house, I was raised in violence. It was. I remember one time I was in St. Charles County Jail, and that jail I hated. It's got 8 big cages in there. You can see right through the whole county jail, and you can
Straight
see where
across.
the what's that?
Straight across.
Oh yeah, you can just see through the whole thing, and you can see where the stairs and the platform were. They used to hang the inmates right in there in front of the
Oh
other
fuck.
inmates. Yeah, and the water was dripping. It was just, I didn't like it. And my dad had told me years ago, I'll never bail you out of jail. And I said, I'm getting out of here. I called him up, and he answered the phone. I said, get me out of jail. And I knew he was going to say no. And he said no. And I started calling him punk and bitch and all kinds of shit. And I
Everything
heard the
under the
phone
sun.
go, the phone went click, and he come bailed me out and beat my ass all the way down the courthouse step.
He bailed you out, but he kicked your ass too.
I knew he was going to. I mean, I was used to him kicking my ass, so that wasn't nothing new. It just got me out of that county jail.
Right.
He brought that up about 4 years ago, and he said, "Yeah, you remember that time I whooped your ass down in court?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I won." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I knew what you were going to do. You were going to bail me out. Just get your hands on me." So technically, I was bruised up, but I won.
You got out.
Yeah, and that was back in the time when the cops saw him kicking my ass down them steps, and they didn't do a damn thing. Uh, that's back when sometimes you messed up, you got some knots on your head. But they had a thing called cop out court in St. Clair County, and it was awesome.
What does that mean?
Well, they had it on Tuesdays and Fridays. The jail was so crowded over there on the east side that if you go in on a Monday, or say you got somebody's head to knot up, you do it and you get arrested on a Monday or on a Thursday. If they get you back in the block quick enough, the next cop out court, they take you over to court. You plead guilty, they give you time served for misdemeanor battery, and they bust
Right.
you out on the bricks again the next day. So you get a night that you just go and stay in the county jail, and then the next day you plead
Get up, go
guilty.
to court, get out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got so many batteries in St. Clair County.
In and out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like In and Out Burger, but In and Out knocked your head up, But people were more, they acted different back then, though, because now, it's different now. Things have,
Okay, so there was somebody in the chat right now,
Barry Wood.
Christopher. Yeah, Barry's in here. He asked, what did he ask? He said something about. Okay,
Ask him
he said,
why
Cruz, ask
kids
him.
today can't
Yeah,
survive prison.
right.
I think they could, but
It's
the
it's
problem
different, right?
nowadays is kids think that they can say whatever they want and do what they want with no consequences, no repercussions. And that's definitely not the case in prison. I always say God got me through prison, but I knew the rules. I was street people. So when I went to prison, I minded my own business. I didn't run up any debts. I'm walking down the gallery. I kept my eyes out of other people's cells. Uh, the only mistake I made was I joined a gang, which it might have saved my life, though. I had another organization complaining about what they thought was a 5-pointed star, and I refused to cover it
A
up.
tattoo that you had.
Yeah, yeah. See, around here, it wasn't so much red and blue. It was 6-point star and 5-point star. 6 pointers they called folks, and then people were five-pointed stars. And that clicked at me and Nate and my friends had out on the street. It was a ranking system, and I could see how they thought it was a 5-pointed star, but it wasn't. They also called the 5-pointer fin ball back in the day, but
Right.
uh,
And do it 5.
that's what I think would be kids nowadays' biggest problem in there is thinking they can say whatever they want. Like on YouTube, I've seen a lot of guys go at each other. Uh, even threaten each other's wives and shit, man.
Even off each other off. Man. There's been a
Yeah,
couple offings.
yeah. Savage Studios, and God bless
Savage
his
was one of the
mother,
first ones,
man.
man.
Now, now
May
you got
rest
a
in
mother.
peace, man.
You got a mother grieving her son. You got another mother whose son's going to prison, and what's it over?
Right.
But there are people. I'm not going to go into that story. I had a
Right.
guy threatened to kill my wife and kids in Arizona, and I went after him, and thank God a guy that I love like a father showed up and talked me down. But uh, there's people that you say stuff like that, you threaten your wife or you threaten her family, they will come for you.
Right.
And in prison, like you got it, Demal Hanna, he's a guy I met through YouTube. He talked about one time, this kid's throwing out threats from another cell. When we come off lockdown, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, the lockdown ended, and he forgot all about it. And that old timer come out and shove some steel up in his neck, and you can't go in there. I prisons where I learned that I ain't the baddest thing on the earth, and
I
it
ain't
was
shit. Yeah.
no, it was a very humbling experience, man. And no matter who you are or how tough you are, you can be killed in there. So anybody goes in, if you make it back out, you should consider yourself lucky. It's not because you're a tough guy or a badass.
Right.
Uh, and really, being a tough guy is a waste of fucking time because there's always somebody else can whoop your ass.
You're gonna put a
And
target on you. Yeah.
yeah, and even if you are like Bruce Lee or some Chuck Norris dude, you're gonna get old. Some young buck's gonna come around and put you on your ass.
Right.
So it's just a waste of time. The tough guys, in my opinion, are the guys who go to work every day and they do their job so they can feed their family and keep the lights on. Uh, that takes more consistency than any stupid shit I ever did. But yeah, that would be my thing for Christopher. It'd be, we're living in a world with no consequences. We really are. Uh, some of the stuff going on, if I'd have pulled it when I was younger, I wouldn't have got beat by the police. They'd have put a red dot on my head. It's just times have changed, and I don't know. It just my dad said something to me, and this will piss a lot of people off probably, but this is one thing my dad said that's true. And it made me mad when he said it. He said every generation gets a little more self entitled and a little more spoiled. And if you look at the World War II generation, I mean, they grew up in the Great Depression where not every kid even had a pair of shoes. And then they had the Great War they fought, and I know my father's generation is harder than mine was. And I
Yeah,
know his father's, my grandfather's, was harder than my father's. And I think what happened is that World War II generation didn't have nothing. And they wanted their kids to have more. And it's like every generation they get more and more and more.
right.
And
Until you
we've
get a
had it,
spoiled, you
well,
get
we've
some
had it so
spoiled
good
kids. Yeah,
too. We live in a great country where we've had it so good for so long that we've gotten spoiled and soft. There's countries in the world where people are starving, and we got it good here. We got a lot of things need to be fixed, but if you're gonna live anywhere, this ain't a bad place to be.
yeah. I believe what you're saying. My grandfather was in World War II, and he came back home, and he bought a house, and had one built, another one built in the backyard, and that was a family property there, and it was like a
Yeah.
house away from his parents' pads and shit. Um, but yeah, it made it easier for the next generation to have things, and so on and so on. You know what I mean? So
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
as it went through, yeah, I could see them getting spoiled. Another thing, what I think is, the discipline, the fucking, or the belt,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what the fuck,
Well,
you
now
know?
you do that, you end up in jail. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think that was a bad move, a good but bad move, because yes, take away from the abusive people, they get a little crazy with that shit, but
yeah,
but
yeah.
there were just parents that will give you just enough to, hey, make you think about it,
Well, and if you look at some of the things that have happened recently, there's been some parents they've thrown in jail for what happened, what their kids did.
Right.
And if you're gonna, I don't know if I agree with that because if you're not gonna let the parent discipline their kid, and you're right, there is a difference between, like, my dad used to like grabbing me by the neck and holding me in the air off my feet, choking.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's different. And when he took the belt to me, sometimes I couldn't dress out, wear shorts because the back of my legs were bleeding and shit, But
Right, right, right. Belt marks or
but
whatever. Yeah,
he got my attention. I spun out when I went to live with my mom, but my dad, for a long time, I was petrified of that man. Um,
yeah.
but
Why not?
he was beyond violent. I mean, uh, I'd hear them arguing and things getting crazy. And what I would do is I'd just lay in bed and shake like fifth grade, just scared to death because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
My name come up, I knew just a matter of time I was going to get drug out of bed. But I've got four children. The three oldest, I've whooped their asses. Not like my father used to beat me, but I've whooped their asses. My oldest is the only one I ever had to punch, and that's because whenever he turned 18, he decided he's going to try to punch my wife. Uh,
Not gonna happen, Junior.
well, he swung and I pushed him and he bounced off the counter and he started swinging wild on me and he caught me in the jaw. So I went down like Jake LaMotta, going side to side. And
Shit.
I saw his ribs open and I hooked him in the ribs. And I don't know what he was thinking, but he grabbed his ribs with both hands and I dotted him in the forehead and he went down. And I said, "Get up." And he said, "No." And I said, "This is when the beating would begin." And my adrenaline was going so bad I had to leave the house.
Yeah.
And I called my dad, and I'm the one crying because I had
Right.
to hit my son.
Exactly.
But it's either that or let him become dominant in my house, and then forget about it.
No.
So, and if you knew my wife Amy, uh, I was pretty crazy when she met me. If anybody's got to hit Amy, it's on you because she's she's my best friend. You know, she's never once said you have to or you can't, and that's what
Always
changed
there.
me. You know, at some point I noticed how good she was to me, and now I'm looking for the next good thing I can do for her.
Right.
She don't mess with nobody, and it just for you don't swing it. My mom, we've been in a lot of arguments, but the thought, not even for a second, crossed my mind to put my hands on my mother. I mean, it just you don't do that.
Right.
Uh, but he's been more respectful since then. We got an understanding, and
Right.
I agree with you, though. I think that was a mistake because I've heard of kids calling police and having their parents put in jail for spanking them, and
Yeah,
now,
and it wasn't even that bad. They're just doing it because they're showing, hey,
yeah,
look, don't fuck with me. You know.
yeah, and then you got a lot of parents too that, like our son Josh. Here's the other thing: they got this thing now. Whenever I was a kid, I don't know how it was in Cali, but here, if there was a fight at school, whoever threw the first punch is the one that got in trouble. But
Right.
you had the right to defend yourself.
Yeah, you could do.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
my
You got
son, we had him on this baseball team, and the kid that was the pitcher, this kid had a curveball, man, that was just insane. Uh, Great pitcher, but he was born addicted to heroin. His mom was doing heroin,
right. She was born
and
addicted.
because of that, they never disciplined him. And I've seen this kid call his dad a motherfucker and all kinds of shit. Uh, my dad would put me in the hospital if I'd pull some shit like that. But he long story short, him and my son had a problem, and they were in sixth grade. Well, this kid's sending two eighth graders after my son.
Oh, that's bullshit.
And so the first time they got into it with these two eighth graders, he they gave them both out of school suspension. Well, at the time, my youngest son, Josh, he was on track for a Duke University scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing great. And so they gave him a week out of school. Then it happened like a week later, same thing. And I went up there, I said, hey, what's going on with this? And they said, well, he got in another fight. I said, there's two eighth graders going after him. And it happened once they got through the cut through off of school grounds. She said, well, we consider it school grounds until they're home. And she said, I hope that he gets punished when he gets home too. And I said, you know what? He's going to eat cake and ice cream, play video games all damn day because you're not doing nothing to stop it up here.
Right.
And I taught my
And
kids, you
he's got to
don't
defend
start a
himself.
fight, but you
Right.
don't have to be hit on. You defend
Right.
yourself.
Defend yourself.
Well, then I called the father up and I told him, I said, get Nick outside. And he said, why? I said, I'm going to bring Josh over and they can fight and get this out of their system. I said,
Yeah.
I'm sick of your son sending two eighth grade boys after my kid.
Yeah.
And he said, no, 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 no. I'll talk to Nick. I said, okay, here's the deal. If it happens again, I'm going to come over and me and you's going to be in the front yard, you motherfucker.
Beat
And
your ass,
he
motherfucker.
quit
Yeah.
after that. It was done. But that pisses me off because that's your God given right to defend yourself if
Yeah.
somebody's
Be
physically
right,
trying to hurt
man,
you.
and let it be fair. You know.
Well, yeah, 23-1. He's got a channel, and some boy hit his daughter in the face. And if I'd have hit a girl in the face whenever I was a kid, oh God, uh, it just that wasn't. There was a certain code back then. You don't like if two guys got a beef, you don't mess with the other guy's wife and kids. You keep them out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Definitely.
If she was in the game and part of the game on the streets, that's different. But as a man, you should never go after another man's wife and kids.
Right. Go after the
Uh,
man.
that's right.
You
And
got
you
you got a person up here in the chat, Adri, that
Oh, Audrey,
Avinia.
yeah,
She
she's
said
my
hello
little
from
sister.
Mexico. Love you, Mark.
She lives down in Mexico City. Well, she moved from there down south a little bit, her and her husband. But
Yeah.
she's like a sister to me. I
She
love
sends her
Audrey.
love. Right on.
And me and Actions talk all the time too. And then Karma, uh, what there? Yeah, and Shenanigans. We talk all the time, me and
DB.
Shenanigans. And then
Oh,
Actions. How you doing, Actions? You doing okay down there? He's down in Texas. And Joker. There's the Joker.
Joker's gonna be here in LA tomorrow.
Oh yeah. It's next time I go out and visit my daughter in Tucson, I'm gonna try shooting over there and seeing you.
Try to stretch out a little bit. Uh, we'll see what happens. Just let me know when you're closer.
Yeah. My buddy, he had a cultivate license for marijuana in Tucson, but before Arizona legalized it, he got a PO box over in Cali. And he'd drive across the border there and had a doctor in Cali, and he got it that way. But he was allowed 8 plants. Um, and he's a good dude, Mickey. I had like 5 friends there in Tucson, and they were all Vietnam generation. You know, they were wiser, more worldly experience, and I learned a lot from them guys out there.
Right.
Um, I'm hard headed, so it took me a long time to calm down. You know, I always say God softened my heart in prison, and then sent Amy right after that. You know, to teach me how to love again.
There you go.
Uh, yeah, Amy's she's been a lifesaver to me. You ever tell you
Yeah.
how me and Amy met?
No, I want to hear that.
I was me and my buddies. We used to rent these shotgun houses because they were so small. You shoot it in the window with shotgun, you kill everybody in there. But she used to jog down the street that we had one of them houses on because these guys would always run behind her and catcall,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't go down that street. Well, she come over with this gal Joan that I knew to get a tattoo from one of my buddies, and I said to my homie Bobby, I said, "Who's that?" And he goes, "I don't know." She come over with Joan to get a tattoo, and I said, "I'm gonna see if she wants to do something." And I went up. I was putting my best moves on her, man, and she goes, "Well, I'm seeing somebody, you know," and she shot me down.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay," and I went and sat down. Bobby goes, "Man, what'd she say?" I said, "She's seeing somebody, you know. At least she ain't a tramp, you know."
Yeah.
And I forgot about her. I wasn't looking for no relationship or nothing back then. And I was in the treasure chest one night in this bar, and I heard an argument going on, commotion. And I turn around, this guy's got this gal against the wall, and he's just choking her. And normally I stayed out of stuff like that. I just minded my own business, you know. And I must have been in a bad mood because I didn't recognize her till it was over. But I snatched him up by the throat and I was choking him. I kept saying, "How you like it? How you like it?" Well, he's turning colors, and I kept hearing somebody say, you know, please stop. But I had tunnel vision on this dude. So he goes unconscious, and I'm like, "Oh, I got a pitcher of beer on the bar." I turn to go back to the bar, and Amy's standing there, and it was her boyfriend.
Oh
And
shit.
yeah, I didn't recognize her though till he was unconscious, and we just started seeing each other after that. We bounced around what about 6 months. I was gypsying it. I was going from house to house, you know, brothers' houses, kind of being a gypsy.
Right.
And she gypsied with me, and then we stayed in a hotel room for a while, and then we finally got an apartment, and we got married January 3rd, 1997.
Nice.
And today we got this house paid off. It ain't much, but
It's
she was
yours.
literally on the bricks with me bouncing around. I knew she wasn't after me for my money.
Right.
Yeah. Them hotels too. Every one of them over there, they got bullet holes in the walls now. And, our apartment was she didn't like there. Well, that's another story, but it's not a good one. But yeah, Amy's been a godsend. What me and her have, it's not it's not physical and mental. It's going beyond that, man. It's a spiritual thing.
Got you.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
I've
That's
been
right.
telling her since there's actions. Yeah,
Shout out to
Barrywood.
Betty.
I saw Barrywood too. Barrywood in the house.
Yep, Betty's in there. Ashley
Barry,
says, I'm good, Tashunka. Running this motel myself is rough.
you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah, he's the main guy now.
Hey, I can see that happening. Though he's a good guy. I like actions, man.
He busts his ass, man.
I met a lot of good people on YouTube. That Jen Maganta you got out there,
Yeah.
she's a sweetheart. Jen is a sweetheart. And Cholo Trucker,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was praying for him, man. My mom took me to see Jaws.
With the
I
shark?
won't, I won't get in the
When he
water,
smacked the
dude.
Alcatraz and back or whatever?
No. Yeah, I was like, God, don't let Cholo Trucker get eaten by a shark, man. I was tripping out. I seen Jaws as a little kid, and ever since I'm terrified. I don't go in the water past my knees in the ocean. I got to do like Fred Flintstone, get up and run on top of the water. Uh, One time I did. We went to Cali. Our priest, his name was uh, Father Tadio Abram, or Abram Tadio was his name, and he was from Cali. And we went from Tucson on a church trip out there, and this kid that was in our group, he got caught in a riptide,
Katie.
and he was struggling out there, and I wasn't thinking, I was just reacting, and I'm swimming out to him. I'm a strong swimmer, but that ocean's a whole different
No,
creature.
don't go into the riptide. Hell no.
Well, I know you go at an angle into a riptide. I knew
Go
that,
to the
but
side,
I
yeah.
didn't get a chance to get to him. The lifeguard passed me like I'm standing still, and when he's going by, he says, "You go back. I don't want to have to pull you in too." So I turned around and listened to him, and I realized where I was when I turned around. My heart was beating. I could hear it in my ear, dude. I never swam so fast in my life back to that shore. I was freaking out. But it's because a friend of one of our friend's kids was struggling out
Right,
there.
right, right. It was a natural reaction.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about it. If I'd have thought about the sharks, I don't know what I would have done. It was just reaction. But I'm terrified of the ocean, man. I don't.
Yeah, I remember one time I was boogie boarding with my buddies while me and my one buddy was boogie boarding and a couple other ones were surfing. Um, I was just walking in the water a little bit, and the water wasn't even to my knees yet. It was getting close, and I saw a fucking little shark, about three footer, something like that,
It's big
just
enough to hurt.
swimming right next to my leg, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh hell no, I'm out of here.
Well, do you guys got those manta rays there too?
We got everything.
Because in Florida, we went down to St. Petersburg, and the guy at the hotel there said, when you're in the water, drag your feet. Because if you bump them, they'll swim off. You step on them, they'll sting you.
The stinger, yeah.
Yeah, but
Drag your
no,
feet so you could, yeah, so you could kind of kick them away or whatever.
I always heard Alcatraz had a lot of sharks around it.
Oh
So
yeah, that whole area up there, Monterey Bay, Frisco Bay, there's a shitload of sharks out there because there's a lot of sharks food out there. There's a lot of seals, a lot of sea lions.
well, they probably got killer whales too. Then once in a while,
They come through. Remember,
that's
their
my
season. They
favorite.
go back and forth. They with the weather.
I
You know.
love killer whales, man. My wife's brother-in-law, he's part Maori Indian over in New Zealand,
Hmm.
and they really they hold the killer whale sacred. Whenever I was a kid, we went to California, and we did the Disneyland and SeaWorld. And I remember at SeaWorld the whole day I didn't want to be there because just seeing that killer whale in that tank, it just bothered me, man.
It was like it should be free.
Yeah, I
You were trying
mean,
to free Willy before Free Willy.
well, and they don't attack human beings in the wild is the thing. They got a place on Australia where the whalers would go for these whales, and these killer whales started working with them, and they would herd the whale into this cove where the whalers could get it easier, and the whalers would give it the tongue and different parts of the whale, and they were working in a team. And there's been people. There's a woman that's a ocean biologist.
Yeah. Cool. What happened?
They were attacking rudders on some boat or something not long ago. And I heard about dolphins attacking people lately too. Maybe they figured out we're screwing shit up, you know.
They said, "Ah, you guys, man, you had it too good."
Well, I think they're smarter than we human beings. We got a bad habit of thinking that we're smarter than everything else, you know. If we're smarter than dolphins, we can't figure their language out. And the killer whales, they have different languages from different parts of the world, just like we do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the sad things about having them in captivity is, you know, they're very social creatures. And you put them in with other killer whales, they can't even communicate with them. Amy had this my buddy, I took care of all his stuff while I was in prison. I was cutting his mom's grass. And the only reason I'm telling you this is it proves what I'm saying. I got these little pinky mice because he wanted to pay. He says, I got to give you something for looking out for my mom and everything. I said, I don't need nothing. And he
Right.
gives me this beautiful, it was a California bandit king snake, but it was albino. And I mean, this thing was gorgeous. It was like white, but it had like this fuchsia purple color that was almost neon in the bands, real pretty.
Wow.
And the first time I fed her, I put three of them little pinky mice in there. They don't even got hair, their eyes ain't open. And 2 days that snake didn't eat. So Amy got to feeling bad for them mice. And she looked it up on the internet. She got cat formula. She's feeding these mice. It was like a 0.07% chance of
It
any
would
of them.
survive.
Yeah, and one lived. And she named him Little Chef.
Yeah.
And she got him this aquarium. And I swear, I'd
The
get home
best.
from work. When it was time for Amy to get home, that mouse would be standing on his house looking at the front door. She'd come in, he'd start running in circles in that cage. And what was even crazier, you know them hamster balls, the clear ones?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She got one for him, and in the morning before work, he's running all over every time without fail. She'd go, Little Chef, when she's getting ready to leave. He'd come ripping around the corner and stop right in between her feet. Every time. It knew who she was, it loved her, it knew her name. I always looked at mice as little disease carrying rodents, you know, and
Well, this one was grateful.
yeah, this one loved her. I mean, there was more going on in that little brain than I ever dreamed of. Is the point I was making.
Right.
So that I don't, I haven't seen any mice. We ain't got none, thank God. But uh, I don't look at them like I used to look at them.
Yeah, as rodents, as a
Well,
quote unquote rodents.
just grow, yeah, rodents, disease carrying rodents. But I realize that even in the tiniest things, there's more going on up there than we think there is.
Oh yeah.
Because
Ants. Ants are
it
super fucking intelligent. Those damn ants are hard to fuck with.
actions. And then June bug. That's what John Hawkins used to call me, June bug. He did.
Love you,
And
honey.
John
What's up,
Hawkins,
Katie?
he was a badass. John Hawkins was. He's from East St. Louis, and I don't know why, but the black guys from Chicago and the black guys from East St. Louis, which is on the Illinois side of the Mississippi,
Yeah.
They had a problem with each other. So the black guys from East St. Louis, they started an organization called the Metros, from Metro St. Louis area.
Yeah.
And John Hawkins was one of the founding members of that. He was a Vietnam vet. I seen him knock a guy out for reaching over his tray one time.
Oh shit.
But he used to call me Junebug all the time. And I'm like, man, you want to know why somebody's calling you something, you know? You
Yeah, like what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so I did, and believe me, I was not. I was hoping it wasn't bad because I wasn't wanting to have to fight this guy. I'd have ended up on the bad end of it. I guarantee you that. But I asked him. He says, "Calm down, Junebug. I like you." He goes, "I call you Junebug because you're like a Junebug. You just bounce off of all the walls in here, man. You're just all over the place." And he's the one that gave me the do's and don'ts when I got sentenced. They told me to get my stuff together. They come back and get me. They were going to take me down because the bus was coming to get me in. He goes, Junebug, let me holler at you. The first thing he told me is he says, whenever you get there, don't be Junebug. Just keep your mouth shut, your eyes open, your ears open. And he went through a whole list of things he told me. And I looked him up when me and Amy come back. He was one of the people I was wanting to say thank you to, but he's already gone home, so I didn't get to do that. I put on his memorial for his funeral thing that I found, that he helped me one time, and the man didn't owe me nothing. I didn't bring up jail or nothing like that. I didn't want that on his memorial.
Right.
But he had a real bad habit, and I don't know, maybe he picked it up in Vietnam. I know a lot of the guys with that morphine over there. But when I was in with
Yeah, the
him,
cope and shit. Yeah.
he got caught with one bullet. Didn't even have a gun on him, just one bullet, and they violated his parole. That's what he was going back on a parole violation. I thought, ain't that some shit? You gonna give a man an M16 and have him go out and maybe get killed and he gets caught with you
Yeah,
can't
put
if
his
I
life
was
on the
living in
line.
East
Yeah.
St. Louis, I'd have a gun too because everybody else has got one.
And you would think, an ex-military would still be wanting to have a gun around.
Yeah, unless they're Section 8 or something, they should be able to have a gun. I mean, he didn't get arrested for murder or nothing like that. And I can't have a gun, but there's good reasons for that.
Right.
I don't like guns anyways. I used to like hunting a lot. Amy's got a gun, but she's got to keep it in the safe. She's got to have the key, and I can't know where the key is.
Yeah, because you're around. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a convicted felon. So plus I'm red flagged. If you are in a prison gang, they got a federal database. I didn't know about that till Arizona.
You're up in it.
Barney Fife had me and Amy both at gunpoint, spread eagle on the street, and for doing 5 over the speed limit.
And yeah, that's a dickhead.
Well, I said, what the hell? Because he said, okay, you can go. And I said, what did I do? He said, you were doing 5 over. I said, dude, so you're going to pull a gun out on my wife? He goes, well, you red flagged me. And I said, I don't even have my work truck. I mean, a red flag to me was something I put on my ladder if it's hanging out the back of the truck.
Right.
And he goes, no, on my computer. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, on my computer, it says you're a known prison gang member. You're extremely violent and dangerous, and I need to be careful with you. I said, sir, I've never been to prison in Arizona. And he said, no, this is nationwide.
Oh, so they put you on a nationwide database.
Yeah, if you're a known prison gang member, they do everybody. And I didn't know that. When I got back here, my homies, I was telling them about it, and they're like, yeah, you didn't know that? I said, no.
You were like,
I
damn it,
didn't.
why didn't you guys tell me?
Well, I tell you what, I get pulled over and I keep my hands on the steering wheel. I say, yes, sir. I say, no, sir. Whenever I reach for my registration and shit, when they tell me to, I keep my left hand on the wheel because they get nervous around me. And I've noticed one thing though. Whenever I was younger, I'd cuss at them and spit at them, and I mean, give them hell. And they beat my ass a bunch of times. Uh, I never said police brutality because when I was growing up, I knew if you fucked up, part of the consequences might be you get some knots on your head.
Right.
But now that I say yes sir, no sir, there's never a problem. Sometimes you get what you give, you know.
Right.
There are some that get a power trip, uh, like that George Floyd thing. The thing I didn't like about that, I've had the cops put their knee on my throat just to restrain me, and you
Wasn't
know,
that
get me
there in
in.
St. Louis?
No, that happened. Well, we had not the George Floyd thing here. We had what, Amy? Yeah, in Ferguson, we had that incident. But that kid there, I know the inside scoop on that there. My brother, my half brother, knows the cop that happened with,
Yeah.
and Eric Holder sent, or Obama sent Eric Holder here to investigate that. And what they determined, everybody's saying, you know, the kid had his hands up saying, don't shoot. And they said he got shot in the back, but that wasn't true. He went in a convenience store and beat the hell out of some guy working in there, knocking him around. And then he grabbed a bunch of shit off the shelves. Well, the guy called the cops. The
Right.
cops showed up and tried to arrest him, and he hit the cop and rang the cop's bell. The cop was dazed, and there was a struggle for the gun. Well, the gun discharged in the car, and he started. Michael Brown was his name. He started walking away, and that once by their protocol in that police department, if your gun's discharged, you have to pursue. And he was telling them to stop, and the kid turned around and charged at him. He had 5 shots going through the front of him. This was a big boy. And he already rang his bell once. The guy was dazed and confused, didn't know where he was hardly. And he was scared to death that he'd get the gun away from him. But the whole narrative of he went in there and was being a good kid and everything else ain't true. He went in there knocking people around in the store and stealing shit. And then he was hit the cop so hard the cop almost got knocked out. So that's what really happened with it. And Eric Holder found the same thing. You know, they didn't charge the cop, but the cop, his life's ruined. It's over. You know, everybody calls him a racist and this and that and the other. Now the court system here, my best friend's black. He lives here with us, and I can honestly say I've seen it too many times not to be true. And the Illinois Department of Corrections and the whole Illinois criminal justice system,
Do them wrong.
if you're black or you're Latino, there's a difference between the way they're treated and the way a white man's treated. And that's just a fact. I mean, I'm not going to say that don't happen because I've seen it too many damn times.
Right.
You know, Big Mex?
No.
He's got a channel. I met him through Mitch Smiley's channel.
Yeah.
And he loves Volkswagens too.
Nice.
But he's Mexican, and I asked him. I said, you know, because my theory on it is this.
What is it? Big Mex?
Yeah, Biggmex. Big
Okay.
Mex. He's cool as hell. He counsels kids and stuff now, but
I'm gonna check him out.
Jim Maganta knows who he is. But you
They
know,
were hot tonight.
I shot stuff by him, you know, because these prosecutors, they're judged on convictions. How many convictions you got? Well, that gives them an incentive to falsely convict people if they got to.
Right. No, let me just tweak this a little bit, and I got another one.
Well, Illinois, when me and Amy moved out to Arizona, it was about a year or two after we moved out there that they had in the news Governor Ryan of Illinois. He commuted all death row inmates to life because there was like 18 of them sitting on death row. The DNA proved they were innocent. 18 at one time. on death row.
That's some corruption right there.
Oh yeah, and so he released them, and yeah, you won't even get it. You're lucky if you get an apology. Uh, but that happens because of the way they judge prosecutors. And you know, so I think some of it is racial, but I think some of it too is about money. Um, if you're a corrupt prosecutor and you want to railroad somebody, you got to railroad a rich white boy whose mommy and daddy's going to buy a real good lawyer, or are you going to railroad some
You're gonna,
poor inner city
yeah,
kid
you're gonna
going to end up with the
railroad the
public
poor person.
defender?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I've seen it. I've seen it a lot, man. It too much to be a coincidence. There is something to that, and it's wrong. Me and Nate, Nate and Tom, we were on. Normally, you don't want to run cases together. You want your own trial,
right.
and we got in some real trouble. I mean, we were looking at 6 to 30 years, and I told Tom, I said, we got to run this case together. And he goes, what do you mean, man? I said, if Nate's on this case alone, they're going to hang him.
He's gonna get the worst of it.
Yeah. And we ran that case together, and it worked out good for us, thank God. But uh, we had to, because on that case, he'd probably got 25, 30 years. And Nate, my wife's my best friend, but outside of her, Nate's my best friend, you know. Uh, my mom raised me that you judge a person by their character, not by. My first girlfriend was black. I got in a fight at school because somebody called her the N word. It was my mom's friend's daughter. We weren't. I mean, we were so young. We were in grade school. We just hold hands on the playground and stuff, you
Mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm.
But and then the neighborhood me and Amy grew up in, it was black, white, Mexican. You know, it was everybody over there. And when you grow up, you like Whack Deuce, you know, the neighborhood he grew up, all his friends was black, you know,
Yeah,
and kids don't see in color. They just see a friend, you know.
yeah.
Uh, you're
Somebody that
taught
treated
that
them right. Yeah.
you're taught that stupid stuff later on in life, you know, and uh, I don't know. I get tired of hearing it because I don't. The whole racial thing. I think if anything, it's gotten better than worse. You know, the kids nowadays they get along better, and it's like I think the reason they bring it up so much is to keep us divided as a country. You know,
Oh, a lot of that does that. Yeah.
yeah. It's like prison; they do the same thing. You know, if you keep everything racial, they're going at each
You don't
other
want
and
them
not.
all together. Yeah, because then you have a problem on your hands.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't talk about California prison politics. It seems much more. It's similar, but it seems much more complicated.
Yeah.
The way the politics are out there, and I've never been there, so I don't comment on things that I've never experienced. You know, I've never been.
What was how many years did you live out in Arizona?
I did four. I did four. The way it used to work in Illinois,
No, in
you
Arizona. How many years
oh,
did
I
you
was
live out
there
there?
15 years. 15
15
years.
years.
Yeah.
Was that after
Prison. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. It was after prison. We moved out there. My mom moved out there, and that's a long story too. Things was getting real hairy. My kids, I didn't feel were safe around me. I would get them on the weekends from the ex, and I didn't want them to take a bullet that was meant for me or something.
Right.
Because where I'm from, you either love me or you hate me. And to be honest, most of my fights and stuff, they weren't over me. They were because somebody was fucking with somebody I cared about,
Right.
and I'd always volunteer, and people, yeah, go get them, and Arizona, that's when they changed that older crowd. My buddy Mickey got ripped off one time. I said, I'll go deal with that. And he said, why would I want you to get in trouble for my stuff? And that's the first time anybody said that to me.
Right.
I didn't know how to take it, but what it was is he actually gave a shit about me. He didn't want me to get in trouble.
Right.
But yeah, we were out there 15 years, but my mom, I signed custody over my mother. I could see my kids at any time. I knew they were safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mom. Yeah.
my ex-wife signed custody over to them too. But the only reason she did, she said, if you let me claim them 3 years on taxes, I'll do it. And she didn't call the whole time they were out there. Once or twice.
Wow.
She called one of them the wrong birthday. My oldest biologically isn't mine. He was 3 weeks old when I met my ex-wife, but I finished raising him,
Right.
because I bonded with the kid, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I had some guy on YouTube tell me I was a damn fool for that, and I
Bullshit.
I got mad, but I didn't say nothing. I reminded myself how silly I think men look arguing over the internet.
I got two
Uh,
just like that.
I mean, I bonded with him. I loved the kid, and he was calling me dad. I'm not gonna pull the rug out from underneath him like that. And,
Right.
and that's always been my thing is children. That's my kryptonite. That's my weakness.
Don't fuck with the kids, man.
No, there was times that when I was collecting money that there was one time in particular I could have made a lot of money, but the guy had his kid with him. And, he might be an asshole and deserve it, but that's going to traumatize that kid. Uh, and I lost out on that money, but that's all right. I'll lose out on it because I'm not going to hurt a kid.
Right.
Uh, if there's a child involved, and
Right.
women
I put
too,
them in danger. Yeah.
you just, that's the old code. You leave the kids out of it. And that's a lot of our problem too with kids nowadays. Every generation, they get more and more scarred up, man. Desensitized and scarred up. It's pretty messed up.
So
Uh,
when you moved out to the Southwest, that's when you were doing the roofing.
oh no, I started roofing like 15, man, because I was always, if I wasn't locked up somewhere, I was running away out on the streets, and I started roofing whenever I was young. We went to, what year we go out to Arizona? 97. So yeah, I roofed till from like 15 to 28, 29. Uh, then we went to Arizona, and out there, that's a funny story. But I started out there. I drove this damn ice cream truck. I just wanted to get something to get some money coming. I only did that 2 weeks. It played that do 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 do
The
do
ice
do
cream
do.
truck.
Yeah, it had no air conditioner. Wouldn't go over 30 miles per hour.
Oh,
I went in the second week to get my check, and the guy goes, "You did pretty good today." I said, "No, you did pretty fucking good today." I was eating more ice cream and drinking more sodas. I was so damn hot in that truck than I was making,
I was. That's what I was gonna ask you. Did they even stay fucking frozen?
No, and it's a good thing I quit too because I had this kid one day. He goes, "Do you got drugs in there?" I said, "No, I don't got no drugs in here." He said, "My mom said all the ice cream truck drivers got drugs in their
Oh
vehicle."
shit.
And I swear they got raided, man. And they did. They were selling dope out of the ice
Yeah.
cream truck.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
They all had real thick New York accents and shit. And, you know, fucking forget about it. I don't know. But yeah, we met some mobsters out there.
Damn.
Very well known mobsters. And I didn't know who they were until the
So
head of the
somebody told
family
you.
died. I went in and I said, "Where is everybody?" And the guy said, "They're at, Joe Bonanno's funeral." And I'm like, "You're fucking kidding me." And he said, "No, no." And the only reason I met them is my son he's little. And they had this, I don't know what it's called. It's like down in New Orleans, Creole. he spoke like French and English mix, kind of.
Right.
And he made these hot wings that were so hot, most people couldn't eat them. And there was a tray of them going by, and my son's reaching for them. I said, "Oh, no, you don't want none of that." And this old guy goes, "Let the fucking kid try." I said, "They're hot. Let the fucking kid try." Well, like 7 wings later, he's got barbecue sauce all over his fucking face. And there's all these old guys standing around the table saying, "Look at this fucking kid." They were sending 50s, 100s home to my son. And they were great to my family. I got my kids baptized, and they bought Joshua's baptism outfit, and they were really nice people. But I didn't know who they were until I went in, and they were all at that funeral that day.
You're like, oh
And I
shit.
didn't see them doing nothing illegal. They didn't ask me to do nothing illegal. They were decent people, man.
Wow.
I almost messed up though, but I'll tell you that joke some other time. I told one of them a joke, and he looked at me for a second. He goes, "You being a wise ass?" And I said, "No." And then I told him the joke, he started laughing and shit. And I was like, "Oh shit, that was close."
That was close.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about betting. I don't like betting a lot, but I was going to a casino one day, and one of them said, the Casino of the Sun. He goes, "Hey, Mark, what are you going to play there?" I said, "I don't know, probably one of them machines." "Don't play them fucking machines," he said. He said, "Those are rigged to screw you." He said, "The best odds in the whole casino," he said, "is blackjack live dealer." Uh, and they taught me how to play blackjack, uh, taught me how to the bet, but the bet on the horses and dogs, that place had off track betting.
Wow.
And you can't bet on the dogs because he said the dogs are fucking stupid. They run out of the box and they're banging into each other, but you got to know the jockeys really to bet on the ponies. Uh, but all I knew about betting was win, place, and show. And by the time I left Arizona, it was give me a 6'4" Quinella in the seventh race, box them, and I mean they taught me all kinds of shit, but they they were good to my family. That's all I'm going to say about them.
That's right.
Regardless who they were. And whenever he said his name, I said his son's got a beard. And Tito goes, "Mark, you watch too much fucking television."
He's not supposed to have a beard.
Yeah, I said, "Well, he's got a beard." He goes, "You watch too much fucking television." They were
Oh,
nice
that's
though.
crazy.
They were really nice. I mean, Nick and Gloria owned the place, and Nick got mad at me one time, and it's before I found out who they were. There was some vagrant guy in there, and he kept staring over at my kid. And I walked up to get a beer off the bar, and he goes, "You guys can come sit up here." And I said, "No, we can't." I said, "He's not of age. You can't belly up to the bar." He goes, "Well, he can sit on my lap," and I backhanded him, and he went out of his stool and landed face down. He was out. And Nick came out. He goes, "What's going on out here?" The bartender told him what had happened. And that Cajun guy goes, "Damn, Bubba, I bet you jack off with 2 hands." I said, "You getting ignorant with me too?" He goes, "No, man, he's just saying you're intense." And Nick told me, man, he said, "Don't you ever do nothing like that in my place again, ever." I said, "All right, Nick. And then
Yeah.
he told Pancho, he said, "Get that piece of shit out of here." And Pancho carried him out and just dropped him right out there on the sidewalk.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, they were neat. They were neat.
That's crazy, man.
It's a small world. I mean, and I'm not like in with those guys or nothing, but
Right. You were
I,
just around them.
yeah, they was just a bunch of, at that stage of the game, bunch of old men sitting in the bar and betting on races and shit.
Making
Uh,
some money.
yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be a part of nothing like that. I ain't disrespecting them. They were wonderful to me and my family, but I'm not Sicilian. And
Yeah, yeah.
I was a family man by then. You know, I left all that other stuff behind.
The crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get taken away from my family for that. Uh, and you know, the best money is the honest money made with clean hands or with
I
dirty
don't
hands.
understand people like where they say people get rich and then all of a sudden they want to go up in there and be a gangster. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, see, that's the other thing too, and this is gonna piss a lot of people off. These guys, like here in St. Louis, they're driving by automatic weapons just opening up. We had 141 children shot in the crossfire the year before last.
Fuck, man.
141 kids, and that's not gangster. A gangster is about making money, and a gangster don't want anybody to know who the hell they are.
Right.
If you don't think shooting a child's bad and you don't have no morals, then from a gangster point of view, you don't injure a child because it draws more heat on you.
Yeah.
Um, and
And and it's and it's
it's
and it's
just
just super wrong.
it's not
What?
gangster.
Why?
It's
Why
thug, is
involve
what it
a
is.
innocent kid?
A gangster is about making money, and it's about staying under the radar. A real gangster don't want to be known. Uh, and when you're killing innocent children and shit, that's when it's not funny no more. You know.
Right.
Then they had a program going for a while here in St. Louis where you go and you stand with the kids at the bus stop and try to keep them safe while they're getting on the bus. And I was going to do that. And my dad's like, "Oh, that could be dangerous." And I said, "I grew up over on the east side. I've been in a maximum security prison. What do you mean dangerous? Well, you could die." I said, "Can you think of a more honorable way to die than covering the child up from a bullet?" I mean,
Right. Right.
uh, but the only reason I didn't is because my health was getting bad. And you sign up for something like that, you got to be there every day,
Right.
because it'd be my luck something happened, I wasn't there, and I'd be blaming myself. But yeah, it's bad here. We had a lot of children get killed that year. We had one. They had it on video on YouTube. It's like 6 blocks away. This guy, the parents filming it on the phone, and these are like 7, 8-year old kids on a ball field playing baseball.
What the
And you see
fuck?
a guy chasing another guy. The guy falls down, and the other guy walks up and just boom, 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 shoots him like a dog right there in the street in front of the kids, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And
Fuck.
that's not gangster, man. It's just not.
Nope.
And that'll piss a lot of people off, but I don't care. It's not gangster.
It's not. No.
That's thug, is what that is.
That's a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It don't make no sense to me. We've had a lot of murders right around us here. There aren't too many white people. There ain't too many white people left in our neighborhood. Uh, the guy next door is from Honduras. He's my favorite neighbor, though. He's cool as hell. And then the guy across over there's from Mexico. And then we got black. And then the only one I don't get along with is the white gal next door here. Uh, her pops was falling down all the time, and I built him a rail, to help him get
Right.
in the house a little easier and not fall down. And it got to the point me and my son were going over there a couple times a week, helping him up off the ground. This guy had to have weighed. What do you think he weighed? 400 and something.
Oh wow.
Uh, and the last time I went over there, he's laying on the ground and he wore them Depends. He was incontinent.
Yeah.
And I got him up and I got him to bed and I'm trying to drag him to where his head's by the pillow. His daughter's right in the next room and she's like, God, she's probably early 40s, late 30s. And she's in the next room right there. Her boyfriend's over. And I said, after I got done with him, I said, how long was he laying in there? She goes, I don't know. And
Shit.
I said, you're a bitch. And
That's
she
too
goes,
bad.
Excuse me? I said, I didn't stutter, bitch. I said, you leave your father laying in there, defecated on himself? Me and my dad don't even talk, and I wouldn't leave him laying in shit.
Right.
Uh, they took care of you when you were a kid. They changed your diaper. So I don't like her. I don't get along with her too well.
Right.
Uh,
Naturally.
well, no, I mean that's your father, and Joseph was a good dude. He was doing real good for a while. He met this real good looking gal over on. She lived in Illinois, and I was like, "What the hell's she doing with Joseph?" And he was cleaning up his yard. He was starting to lose weight. And he was really happy, and she took him for 40 grand, dude, forty
That's what she was
thousand
doing with him.
dollars. And then he nosedived after that. It was just, you know,
That's fucked up.
no, he was a cool dude though. I like Joseph a lot. Uh, yeah, the other thing she did piss me off is I went over one day. It's like hoarders over there, shit stacked to the ceiling, and
Right.
I went over to clear a path so he could get to the bathroom and to his bedroom. I didn't want him to. I knew if the ambulance came too many times, he was going to end up in a nursing home or
Right.
something like that. And me and my son went over. We moved all kinds of shit that day. And I come back over here and I get a call from her. You didn't happen to find $50 by my dad's chair? I said, you accusing me of stealing? And she said, no, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. If you don't think I took it, why are you calling and asking me?
Right.
And then she
If I
called back a
found
little
it, I
bit.
would have told you.
Yeah, she called back a little bit later and she's like, oh, I found it. Well, I don't know how you find anything in that house, number one, but uh, then it made me real eerie about going in that house because I didn't want to be accused of something.
Right.
Uh, but he ended up. Actually that was the second to last time. The last time he fell, me and my son went to lift him up. It took two of us. He was a big man. And he said, ow. And I said, put him down. We put him back down. I said, Joseph, I got to call the ambulance. I don't want to move you because he said his back was hurting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You
he,
don't want to do more.
yeah, and he cracked some vertebrae in his back. So it's a good thing we left him down there.
Yeah.
But after that, they put him in a nursing home. And how long do you think he lived after that? 6, 7 months after that, he went home. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, we got another guy that's like from the Middle East somewhere. Um, we're us and that girl next door. We're the only white people on the street. But I grew up on the east side, so I'm used to all different races. It's my best friend's black. I just don't see in color. I don't.
That's
You
crazy.
ever heard that Jamaican guy on YouTube that he explains it perfect? He says you take a bunch of milk jugs, the clear ones, the gallon jugs,
Yeah.
put water in all of them, and then paint one brown, one black, one white, one red, one yellow. The outside color might be different, but what's inside, the spirit, the soul, that energy, that's all the same.
Right.
Uh, and my mother, when she told me that she was raped, it was so important to her. She always raised us to judge a person by character and how they acted. And the guy that raped her was a black guy that used to babysit us. And when she finally told me in Arizona what had happened, she said, first thing I got to tell you is white men rape women too. And it was so important to my mother that I not dislike all black men because a black man raped my mom,
Right.
that she
Right.
said that before she told me something that was very hard for her to tell me. And my dad, I called him up immediately and asked him, is this true? Yeah. Well, why didn't you tell me? Why did you let her tell me my mother didn't love me and want me all the time? You know, and for a woman to do that, know that another woman was raped, and then you're telling that woman's child that she don't love you and want you. That's just cold hearted, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't deal with it good as a kid, but now I haven't talked to my dad in a few years, and I love my father, but she wants to attack my wife, and I was the whipping boy, and I can take that, but you're not going to start being ignorant with my wife, you know.
Right.
And if I respond to his wife, that backs my old man in the corner where he don't got no choice but to respond to that. And before I let him beat me again, I'll beat him to death. I mean, so I figured the best thing to do is just detach from the whole situation. Uh, if I could find a positive way to deal with it, I would. But uh, he's one of those that he's never wrong about nothing. Uh,
Yeah.
I wrote him a letter, and basically, long story short, it says, you know, this is not an apology. If I had something to apologize for, I'd have done it a long time ago, and I don't expect you to apologize. But my time's getting short. Don't know how long you got. I just want you to know, despite everything, I love you. He never missed picking us up, and he paid child support religiously every month. He worked hard. And I figured that deserves a certain amount of respect. Most of my friends don't even know who their dad was.
Yeah.
Uh, so, and then that way my conscience is clear too when I close my eyes because, uh, you know, he is one of the hardest workers I know. My father, he's a very hard worker. And there's no perfect father, no perfect son, but the physical abuse was very bad, and the mental abuse in that house was off the charts. Um, and I forgive him for all of it, but she won't never stop. I mean, and when it started, the attacks, Amy one time, she she started yelling at my wife at my wife's birthday dinner, and I said, "Let's go." And my dad said, "No, no, no, everybody just calm down." And then she started again, and Amy, Amy told my dad to shut the fuck up. My stepmom was retreating in the kitchen, and Amy's following behind her. Come on, where are you going? And I mean, I was like, damn, because everybody calls her Sweet Amy, and she just got tired of seeing me fucked with the kids,
Right.
and
She said,
everybody,
"Okay, come on, that's enough of this shit."
yeah. Well, that's the only time she gets mad, though. A buddy of mine one time, she was slamming pots around in there. Like, what's wrong with you? She said, whenever you die, these are the people that are going to come say, Amy, do you need anything? And she said, I'm going to tell him, yeah, I needed you to love him like he loved you while he was alive. It just, I try to explain to her that you don't do things for people. I don't do things for people I love to get something back. I don't keep score.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. If you do that, then you're not.
yeah, it's just
You're defeating the purpose of what you're doing.
you're not loving for the right reasons,
Right.
you know. And what I hate even worse than that, bro, have you ever had somebody? No, everything will be going great, and say you tell them something real personal, getting something off your chest, and you trust them with that, and then they get mad at you and they'll throw that up in your face, or they'll do something for you, and when they get mad, they'll throw it. I did this and this for you.
Yeah. 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 You don't
I
do that. You don't do that.
no, that to me is just a bitch move.
You don't fucking come back to the notes, and you don't even write notes.
That's it.
Of what you did or what this person did for you or whatever. No, 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 man.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do something, do it without expecting anything back, man. Do it from your heart.
exactly. There's a song. It's called "The Chain of Love" is what it's called, and it's about some guy that stops and he helps this woman with her tire. And this it's really a neat song. At the end, it's a circle that goes around. You know, he says, "You don't owe me nothing. Someone helped me out once, like I'm helping you, and if you want to pay me back, pay it forward." You
Yeah,
know,
to help somebody else
and
out. Yep.
yeah, yeah, the song's cool though. It comes all the way back around to his wife that night. Uh, the gal's got a bunch of money. She's from New York, and she leaves the wife a huge tip. And they were worried about bills and everything, but that it come back to her. You know,
Yeah, that's
that's the
cool.
way life is. If you do good, good comes back.
You put it out. What you put out there is what you get.
That's right. And you know where I became aware that even our emotions, what we're feeling, affects other people.
Yeah,
I realized that in prison before I became a flag holder.
they say that your vibration reaches so many feet around you. You don't even have to be touching the person or talking to the person.
Yeah,
We all vibrate, and different people, um, will affect other people. They even
that's
say
right.
something about shaking hands with people that have a really low vibration that could bring you down,
Yeah.
or the same thing. Somebody that has a higher vibration will bring you up.
I'll tell you something, bro. You ain't gonna believe this. It's true though. When they found a tumor in my pineal gland. It's right in the center of my brain.
But
And it's weird because right before that, about a month or two before they found that tumor, I I started having this shit happen to me. And I'm not saying I could relate to what somebody was feeling. I'm saying I could feel what people were feeling. And the first time it happened, I took my uncle to the
that
eye
might have
doctor.
woken it up.
Well, that's see, I after I found out I had that tumor there, and it's growing, but it's growing real slow. Um, the I went into the neurologist and I said, I think I'm losing my mind, man. And he said, why? What's going on? And this is just one example. It happens all the time, though. I'm in the doctor's office with my uncle. He's legally blind, so I take him to his appointment. And this old man walks in, probably late 80s, and he's pushing a gal a little older than me in this wheelchair. And you could tell she's one of God's children. She's got a mental problem. And she, I felt so much sadness that I'm in the bathroom. I had to leave the office and I'm sobbing, just crying like a baby in the bathroom. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm taking water, trying to put it on my face.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is, as soon as I walked back in there, the receptionist calls this old man up and she says, sir, you don't even have an appointment today. It's hard to say without starting to cry again. It's one of the saddest I've ever felt in my life. But he says to her, her mother and I took care of her whole life. Her mother died 2 years ago. I can't physically do this. He was there looking for a place to put his daughter after all these years of taking care of her. And I'm telling you, dude, that old man's heart was just broken, man. Uh, but I felt that shit. I'm not saying I related to it. I felt it
You felt
before
you felt his his
all the
hurt.
time. I
Yeah.
still do. I go out, I get drained like a battery. It just drains me because I feel shit coming off of people. And what I mostly feel around here is stress, anger, anxiety. Everybody's all just, it's like a bomb getting ready to blow up. And I thought I was losing my mind. And I went to the neurologist. I talked to him, my neurologist. I said, I think I'm going crazy. And I told him what was going on. And he said, you might be an empath. And I said, that's just mumble jumble bullshit. He
Nope.
said, no, it's
That's
not.
real.
He said,
Yep.
it's a real thing. He said, but usually it's women. Women more commonly have it. And that's why I just, I get drained, dude. And that's the only way I can describe it. It's like a
Yeah.
battery.
Yeah. I'm one too.
But
it does suck you up, but after a while of being with it, you kind of, not that you get used to it, but you understand it. You know,
Well, I
you
figured out a
understand
way to
why
recharge. I go out in the woods by myself.
you have to recharge. Yeah, you have to recharge.
The woods, I go out there, I lean up against a tree, and I just listen to the birds and the wind through the leaves, and it recharges me. And you walk out feeling better. Or I ride my bike, uh, but there. Some people say they can do that shit over the phone or whatever. I can't. But if I'm physically like Nate, I'll say, "What's going on with you, man? What's wrong?" He'll say, "Nothing's wrong." I said, "Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
I can feel it." And at first, I thought it was a curse. I told Amy, I said, I think God's doing this to me to make me hurt for all the people I've hurt because I used to be a pretty cold son of a bitch.
yeah,
And
yeah. I can see that the
and it's
thinking.
it's not a curse though because you know what people you love are feeling and you can help them.
Right.
But most people think I'm crazy when I tell them that, and I thought I was crazy at first, until I figure a brain neurologist knows what he's talking about.
There's a
Uh,
there's a
I
saying about being crazy. Ah, fuck, I forget what it is. Um, something about a crazy idea and something else. Fuck, I forgot it. Never mind. I
there's
bet
a
you remember.
Waylon Jennings song that says I've always been crazy, but it kept me from going insane.
There you go.
And
Something like
I
that.
think they say that people like Isaac Newton and some of the
They used to call him
brilliant
crazy.
minds were crazy.
Yeah, they used
Uh,
to tell him a crazy idea, um, and then something different. Man, I have it saved too somewhere, but yeah, something about a crazy idea is better
what is?
than something or other crazy or whatever the fuck. I forget what it was. I forget what it was. But yeah, okay, so about your condition,
Huh.
um, day by day, right?
Yeah, I,
You,
I
you,
I had emphysema, uh, which was bad, and then my body's a mess, man. Every one of my ribs, I go get X-rayed. They ask if I'm a boxer, and I'm like, no. Every one of my ribs has been broken, fractured. Um, I mean, I'm all fucked up. My foot's screwed together, but I had emphysema, and then I had a bilateral pulmonary embolism. Blood clot was blocking the blood to both of my lungs. And I went in to take a piss and it hit me, dude. And I'm talking, I was taking as deep a breath as I could possibly take, and I was getting nothing. It's
oh
like I just
wow,
wasn't getting no air. And I wanted, me and Amy, we can communicate without saying a word, just looking at each other.
right.
And all I wanted to do was make it in here, get down on my knee in front of her and look her in the eye and just kind of let
I
her
love
know I
you,
loved
baby.
her.
Yeah.
And when I kneeled down in front of her, she immediately was all over 911, and I couldn't get out to the car. Every step I would take, it would make it just harder to breathe. So
Damn, bro.
they had ambulance come and got me, and they put me on big oxygen mask on me, and I knew I was in trouble when we're they I just get in the emergency room and they're looking at me, and this female, she says he's got a PE, and my mind's going PE, what's a PE? I'm trying to figure out what a PE is, and then the next thing I know, she's telling my wife he's got to go emergency surgery right now. He's got less than an hour, and he's going to go into cardiac arrest. And my heart was just working overtime trying to keep me alive.
Right.
And they they took me back there, and they basically took all my clothes off, and they put this sticky thing on me, and they shoved it's like a cable up my inner thigh, up the vein, all the way up into my lungs, trying to suck this blood clot out. And the main doctor in there, he said the same thing. He said, we got about an hour.
Damn.
And every time he pulled out, she'd say, she'd say, did you get anything? And he'd say, no. And I got the Jeopardy going through my head, that the
Yeah,
clock,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Time's
ticking.
ticking. Yeah.
And I was in between, it's like I was there and I wasn't there. But then I had to piss bad. I mean, real bad. And I said, I was trying to tell him I had to take a piss. And I had that thing on my face, and she finally understood me. She goes, there ain't nowhere for you to pee back here. You're just going to have to pee.
Just pee. Yeah.
So I went to go on my side a little bit, hang it off the edge so I didn't piss on myself. And
Yeah.
oh my God, they were freaking out because they had that thing up in me. And whenever I moved, that wasn't good. And
Right.
they were holding me down. So I
Well,
had to piss on myself. But they got it. I mean, it had to have been close to an hour. And I'm thinking I'm running out of time here. And I'm trying to ask them, did you get any of it? And they're not understanding me. Finally, I went to take my mask off to ask them, and she held the mask on and she understood what I was trying to say, and she said, "We got 20%. We think that that's enough. You're going to live." And then I went. I was in the hospital 3 weeks, uh, and I crashed out too. They took me down for a surgery to get to do a scope on my heart, and I crashed out with that too. And then I almost crashed out in the room. Amy was in there, and I got mad at this. This nurse comes in, and they're trying to stabilize me, and she says, "I need to take his blood pressure." And the other nurse says, "We're trying to stabilize him right now." And she goes, "Fine, you do it." And she pushed the blood pressure tag out into the hall, and she was acting all hood when she did it. And I started screaming at her. I said, "Bitch, you think you're fucking hood? I'll show you hood." And
Fucking
she's
Tashunka.
retreating out of the room, and I said, "You think you're having a bad day, bitch?" And
Yeah. Fuck. What the fuck you think you are?
but it kind of brought me out of whatever was going on. They were in panic
What's up,
mode, and
Arnie?
they called the doctor.
What's up, no
And
sucker?
this doctor finally gets up there, and by the time he got up there, they had me stable
What's up, no filter?
and everything. And what happened was, he says to the nurse, "You called me up here for this," and he had already lied to me. I got staph infection in there. I'm looking at my IV, and it's got pus coming out, and I got
Oh
a big
god.
red spot around it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
before I went in, my leg was swollen and it was weeping. Uh, because of that blood clot in the groin there. And I said to him, I said, he goes, "You got the staph from that, was going on with your leg." I said, "Look, I'm not a doctor, but I ain't fucking stupid neither." I said, "I could look at that and tell that's where it came from." So they brought somebody in to do a culture, infectious disease or something.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from, where the IV was. And after that, every time he would walk in the room, I'd just flip him off. I wouldn't say a word. I'd hold my finger up, flipping him off till he left the room.
Right.
Uh, and the
Fuck
nurse
you.
goes, "Why you mad? Why aren't you talking to your doctor?" I said, "Why talk to him when he don't hear a fucking thing I say? I've been telling him I got pain in my lower left lung, and he keeps telling people that my heart hurts." And they finally did a scan on my lung. I had pleurisy and fluids in my lung, but he wouldn't listen.
It was what he said, not what you said. Even though you're the one feeling it.
And
That's
I
crazy.
told him, "I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been cut, I've been hit with bats, I've been beat. Every one of my ribs is broken on both sides of my body. I know what pain is, and I'm a 50-something-year-old man. If I tell you it's the lower left lung, I
That's
know
what
where
the
the
fuck
heart
it
is.
is. Yeah.
It's lower left lung." But what happened was, my heart was working so hard to keep me alive that I damaged the heart. So now the heart's all fucked up.
Right. Right.
I did 5 minutes of work the other day and almost had to go to the hospital again. It's that bad. I don't complain about it. The emphysema, that's from a lifetime of smoking fucking cigarettes, and snorting pills and everything else that I used to do.
Right.
So
Right.
uh, I think a man looks silly complaining about something he did to himself. But that being said, it's scary. There's a lot of anxiety that goes along with it. And my main thing is, whenever it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And I'm all right with that. I've made peace with a lot of things. And I'm all right with that. But my hardest thing is leaving my wife.
Right.
Uh, whatever my energy goes after this, I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her. I will.
He's
I
gonna mess
will.
you too, Amy. He's gonna still be around.
Yeah. Well, I asked her, I said, if there's heaven, will you marry me in heaven? And she said, yeah. I said, but that's really forever, But she just, I'm glad you don't know me the way I used to be. But if you knew how I used to be, even my friends, they always say, if it wasn't for Amy, man, you wouldn't be here. Uh, I don't know. She taught me to love again. She really did. Uh,
That's an amazing woman you have.
oh yeah, yeah. She's definitely January 3rd, 1997. I hit the lottery. That's for sure.
That's right.
And since I've been with her, the only times I've gotten violent is when somebody's threatened her or disrespected her. But other than that, I just sit on my hands because I don't do her no good in jail. And
Right.
also because it's not right hurting people.
Right. It's ugliness.
Yeah, there's a time if you're defending your life, your family's life, that's different.
That's
You
different.
you have a right to defend yourself, but otherwise, it's just usually for me, anyways. It was pride or just wanting to take my hurt out on somebody else, and
Right.
that's wrong every day of the week.
Right.
And I'm not proud of it, but it's the truth.
I hear you.
But that person, I had a friend. All my friends used to call me Crazy Horse, and there was a friend on Facebook called me that one day, and I said that guy don't exist no more. I said the guy that you used to call that, he's buried somewhere out in Arizona, and I hope that son of a bitch stays buried.
Right.
I'd rather the word on the street is that I've gotten soft. I've heard a couple people tell me that's the word on the street.
Until you poke the bear wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and Sun Tzu's art of war. Go ahead, underestimate me, but I don't put myself in situations.
Yeah.
I don't
Don't
go running
underestimate
around.
anybody, man.
Yeah, I ain't part of that game no more. And if being soft means that you've got a heart and you actually care about other people,
Then so
and
be it.
yes, then I'll be soft. Every day of the week. Uh, Whenever I got back, I knew that's what let me know how much I'd changed because my buddy Dwayne's nuts. That's the one I told you he grew up with Dave Mustaine
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Megadeth.
You told me. Yeah.
Yeah, he used. I mean, he was like me. He didn't know when to quit when he get the upper hand on somebody. And he called me up, and I heard his voice, and I was so happy. I said, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And he goes, "Mark, what happened to you?" I go, "What do you mean what happened to me?" He said, "Well, everybody's running around town saying you're nice. You got to see Mark. Mark's nice. Mark changed, and what happened? What happened to you?" He said, "You were the most violent man I ever met in my life." And I didn't have an answer at the time, but that's another reason, getting that warning shot across the bow that my health wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was a blessing in a way because I got a chance to sit back and look at my life and really reflect on it and ask myself what matters to you most with the time you got left.
Right.
And all my other friends, most of them were dead by the time they were before they were 35.
Damn.
Some been shot by cops, some been killed in drug deals, most have overdosed, some have committed suicide. And my friends, as far as getting their house in order, their relationship with God, about getting peace with things, we were all just scarred up kids that had a lot of things from our childhood that, we were wild and they didn't get that chance. They were here 1 second and they were gone the next.
Right.
If they thought about what comes after this, they might have, but they probably thought, well, I got tomorrow to worry about that.
Right.
You,
Not
you
gonna
know,
happen. Yeah.
it sounds
Anytime
sick.
soon.
It's a blessing kind of to get that warning shot. That's why I always say, I always say carpe diem, because you don't know if you're going to have tomorrow. You could be in perfect health.
Yeah.
Like
Anything could happen.
my buddy Dwayne, he built up. We worked for him and BJ Roofing.
The Mimo.
On BJ's job site, if we were angry, we'd fight on the roof. We were showing up drunk in the morning. Dwayne didn't put up with that. Dwayne built a business that he was clearing $2 million after taxes, everything every year. And he was on his way to bed a job early in the morning, fell asleep at the wheel, and went right in the back end of a semi parked on the side of the road there
Oh,
that was broke down.
fuck. No, that's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. And we lost Dwayne. But I mean, that's what I mean.
You don't
You
know.
could be just because I'm sick. That don't mean that I'm gonna die before somebody that's healthy.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and so that's why you
But just
gotta.
because somebody's healthy doesn't mean they're. Yeah. Vice
Well, and the
versa.
only thing you take with you when you leave is what you've done on this earth, and you can't take the money with you. You can't take none of that with you. So what you gotta do is with what time you got, be as positive as you can and touch as many lives as you can
Try
in a
to help
good
them
way.
out on their journey. Yep.
That way, whenever you're gone, you're remembered. I'd rather be somebody like me because I'm a decent human being than fear me because I'm an asshole.
Right.
Uh, I'd rather have love than respect.
Right.
It's, I don't know. That's just the way I look at things. And what I found is the things I used to think mattered, whenever I found out my time might not be long, bro, what mattered to me the most was to have things ready for Amy and to just be at peace and not be angry and just have peace in my heart when I
Just
close
not
my
let
eyes.
anything fuck with you, with your peace. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why I had to detach from my dad. It was toxic. And I've looked at the chessboard. I see no other way to handle it than to detach. And I'll
Yep.
never have peace because every time I forgive, it starts up again. The problem is their relationship is the most toxic I've ever seen. I mean, they wake up and go from the time they wake up. Here's how bad it is. My half brother said, "Mark, sometimes I'm afraid to go by because I'm afraid one might have killed the other."
Oh,
And
fuck.
I kind of laughed a little, and he said, "I'm being serious." I said, "Josh, I know it was worse before you were born." Uh, and I think a lot of that anger that they have for each other, that venom just flows off on everything around them.
It's
But
just
since I
yeah.
was
It's
the
just
black sheep, I'm the whipping boy. Uh, and
now you took yourself out of that.
yeah, and since I did, I'm starting to learn to like myself a little bit. I had Audrey that was in here, she said, "You're awesome and amazing." And I said, "I don't know how to take that.
Right.
You call me an asshole and I'll just smile, but
Then you'll know. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know
Exactly what
how
it
to take
is. Yeah.
that." And now when I look in the mirror, I'm starting to learn to love myself a little bit, you know. When
Yeah.
you're told your shit from the time you're born, after a while, a kid will start thinking their shit, you know.
Right.
And now I'm not hearing that anymore. So it's given me a chance to realize what's really going on, you know. And a lot of families have a scapegoat, you know, that one person that when it's a dysfunctional family and it's toxic, they got that one person that takes all the shit, you know. It's
Right.
everything's their fault. But I didn't mind that. I was used to it. But when they started in on my wife, that you
Nope. Not
know,
gonna have that. Yep.
no. And I do love my father. I think all kids do. Um, he made a lot of real bad mistakes. Uh, my mistakes weren't as bad as far as being a father goes.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of bad mistakes in my life though, and you know I forgive my dad. I even forgive my stepmom, but I just can't be around them because it won't stop.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think most people when they figure out what's going on in their mind about relationships with family members and they see certain things that are toxic or whatever,
yeah,
that's all you could do. You know, you forgive them first of all because that helps you out too, and then just separate yourself and say, you know, I wish them well, and keep your own peace going good. You know.
you know what's weird about forgiving, bro? When I forgave, it's like it took so much anger out of my heart. Anger's like cancer; it'll eat you up, man. And when you forgive, it that for me, anyways, it takes that anger away. Uh, and when I realized, I used to look at I used to want to be just like my dad. I think all boys, you know, your dad's Superman. Uh, I wanted to be just like him.
Right.
One day it hit me that, you know, the person I'm so worried about trying to impress and be like and get him to love me, I'm better than he is. I don't beat my kids. I don't beat my wife. And that's when I got tired. That's when I decided, you know what? I'm not. When you love somebody, you don't have to beg for their love, you know. And
Right.
if you love somebody, you love them for who they are, and you don't try to make them who you want them to be.
Never.
And there's conditions, you know. My family, it's all about. I could have had the silver spoon if I wanted, but pretty much 16 on, I was homeless or on doing my own thing or locked up somewhere. So, uh, but they're all. It's what kind of car you got, what kind of house you got. You know, my portfolio isn't big enough. I just and really they don't know who I am, and I don't know who they are, and a lot of that's my fault for dealing with things the way I did. You know, I was
The
but
decisions you made. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I can't put that on them. Uh,
Yeah. I
you
got
know,
similar stuff. Yeah, I can relate to that. You know, you want to do shit your
Diana.
way, and you want to be stubborn, and might not be the road that everybody takes. You know.
Yeah, the road less traveled. Or
Yeah.
as Mitch Smiley says, what do he say? Oh God, it was funny too. I talked to him once on the phone. He said something with school. I don't know. I got a lot of respect for Mitch though, man. Mitch is he's a cool dude.
Shout out to Mitch Smiley, folks.
Yeah, I he hasn't been doing a lot of lives lately, but I used to set my clock for his lives. He's I'm not going to tell his story because it's his story, but
Right.
all I'm going to say about the man is he's definitely a dude that if he wanted to, in my prime, and in his prime, he grabbed me by my ankle and hold me upside down, shake the change out of my pocket, But the man's very humble, very humble. You get some guys that are badasses and they want to throw their weight around, try to intimidate people, and he's not like that. The dude's he's one of the most real people I've ever met on YouTube.
Yeah.
You are too. There's some good people I met out there in Cali. Uh, Cholo Trucker, he's a good guy. Denise,
Denise. Yep.
yeah, Denise, and Jem Maganta. I think she might be an empath too.
Yeah.
She,
Could be.
she, she feels people's pain deeply, but it's like Mitch's wife, Miss Smiley, said. Don't take her having a big heart as weakness, because
Oh no.
that ain't what
Definitely.
you're gonna get.
Right.
But I've talked to her too, and then Whack. I need to get a hold of him
Shout
too.
out to Whack Deuce, man. That's right.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for him.
I always
Uh,
have to.
yeah, Whack's good people. I like Whack. I got to meet him in person. I got
Yeah,
to
I
meet
know.
Harvey Talks Prison 5 times in person because he just lives
Not
about
too
a
far.
2.5 hour drive.
Hop and a skip away.
He's a good dude too. Harvey is. He went to prison protecting his kid brother. He went to his parents, told them what was going on, and he went to the police. He was only 17, and his little brother was getting molested.
Yeah, to take care
And
of what they had to take care of.
yeah, he took care of it, and he did 28 years in prison here in Missouri. Uh, I get mad when I think about that because he tried to get help, and the same system that failed him, gave him all that time. Uh, you kill somebody, you're gonna get some time, but 28 years, man. Uh, and he was a kid, and he lived on a farm down there. I can't imagine going from a farm to a supermax prison, or a maximum security penitentiary. That's
Right.
just insane. But Harvey, I've met him, and his soul is intact. I mean, he even tells people that he's not proud of what he did. He didn't see any other way to get it to stop, and uh,
No, I get that. That's you. A lot of people can understand where he's coming from.
oh yeah, and when people say that, like I told him when I first started watching him, I said you should have got a medal and the key to the city. And he
Yeah.
says,
No
yeah. He
shit.
says, but I don't. He says I don't talk talk about it that way because the guy that was doing it was family. That it was a cousin or an uncle, and he said, and they got he had family members that loved him, and he's gone. So he don't just look at it from
He sees
what
the
happened to
other. He
him.
sees all the angles. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks at it like
All the
they lost a
perspectives.
family member,
Right.
but he's somebody that I don't know if it was me, I would think that I would be pretty angry and pissed off after 28 years, and he's another one. He's just really humble, and he's like Mitch. He's making the best out of his second chance.
Right.
Mitch, I don't know if you heard, but he was going into the prison and talking to people in there now.
That's good. That's good.
You couldn't get anybody better to do that because he's
He's been through
real,
it. Yeah.
and he could have been out. I think he said like 6 7 years. If he'd have said who did the stabbing, but he kept his mouth
Kept his
shut.
mud. Yeah.
He did what 38 years in Cali. I mean, I can't even imagine. That's a lifetime.
Yeah.
38 years,
That's
and I always say he did 22 or whatever extra for integrity, not snitching and shit. But he's not. A lot of guys will get out of prison and they'll try to act real tough. I had a buddy of mine's neighbor got out of prison. He was messing with my buddy, and I got out of the truck, and the guy was meat mugging me, and I went through the bushes there. I had my path picked, and I got in his face. He goes, "You don't want to mess with me. I just got out of prison." I said, "Dude, I did 4
Nobody
years
gives
in
a fuck
Menard."
about that.
I said, maybe you were bending over, grabbing your ankles. And he started backpedaling. Just because you've been to prison don't mean you're a tough
Right.
guy.
Doesn't
It,
matter. Yeah.
it means you were doing something that you shouldn't have, and you got yourself caught and went to jail. Uh, and there's nothing. For some reason, our society glamorized that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Movies for one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not glamorous. It's not cool. Uh, Everybody I know that is still, I don't know many people still alive that's part of that whole lifestyle.
Right.
Um, and it's really sad because here, I don't know about California, but here it's a generational thing. Grandpa was in the same
Oh yeah.
clique, then
Yeah.
son.
There's that happens here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the time they're in kindergarten, they know everything. They know all the graffiti. They know all about that lifestyle. And
Yeah.
by the time they hit high school, most of them have had one or two friends shot and killed. So it's just a waste of human life. It really is. Um, and I know guys that are in that lifestyle, and they're all about it. Uh, and they live and die for it. And it's sad. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it too is sometimes things ain't good at home, and that's like a family,
Some
too.
guys, to some guys, that's all they've got,
Well, what I hate is like people. I've
or
seen
they
both
think that's all they
sides.
got. You know.
I've ate from the silver spoon, and I've been lived in the hood. I mean the hood, and I've seen both sides, and I'll never forget this. People got this attitude in America that these people that grew up in the hood are just bad. And I remember this guy, he got, this is back when the crack hit the streets. This dude got caught selling some crack, and they hit him with like 20 years. I couldn't believe it. When he come back, everybody's like, what happened? 20 years.
The drug
And I
dealer.
said,
Yep.
20 years? He said, yeah, man. He goes, Mark, I don't do crack. He said, I sold crack because I don't know who my dad is. My mom's strung out on heroin. I sell crack to feed my little brother and sister. And he said, who's going to feed them now? And I'll never
Right.
forget the look in his eyes. He wasn't lying. He wasn't bullshitting. He sold
His
dope
truth. Yeah.
to keep his little brother and sister fed because nobody else was doing it. And I never forgot that. Just because somebody's poor, sometimes desperate people do desperate things. Doesn't mean they're bad. There needs to be more opportunities created for these young people. Instead of building missiles and bombs and fighting wars, we need to be pumping money in the education system and creating more opportunities for these kids.
They
I
don't
mean,
want educated people.
well, if you're hungry and you see the guy slinging dope and he's dressed nice and you got to have more opportunities for them.
Right.
Vocational programs. I mean, throw everything at them.
Or
Give them
mentors in
something
the
to do.
community. People in the community that are willing to teach a kid something. You know.
Not down in East St. Louis where I grew up, man. I mean, what happens is people get elected and then they they strip the city coffers clean. They don't never do nothing for their own community. They don't ever.
They just fill their pockets up.
Well, Carl Officer, he was selling crack. He was mayor, and then he got he owned a funeral home. He was selling, they used to call it whack on the streets here, embalming fluid, joints dipped in embalming fluid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they were selling coffins and dumping the body and reselling the coffins and shit, man.
Chingao.
Yeah, and
What's up, big brother?
you grew up in that town. It's our On the other side of the river. They used to have a big abandoned building, and it said "Red Fox forgives you" because Red Fox grew up
Right
downtown
there.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said to Nate, I said, "Why they got that Red Fox forgives you on there?" And they said because he grew up in that neighborhood, and he was sending money back here to put into the neighborhood. When he made it, he didn't forget about where he come from, and the people that were supposed to invest that money back into the neighborhood
They did it.
didn't, and it didn't go where it was supposed to go,
Right.
and that's why they got that Red Fox forgives you on there, because he's somebody that made it big,
Yeah,
and
and he
he
gave back. Yep.
he did not forget where he came from. He tried to put money into the community, and because somebody else was greedy. But that's what happens. I watch it here in St. Louis all the time. People get elected and they just don't never do. That's why I don't like the division in this country right now, because we got to take care of each other, because these politicians sure as hell ain't going to take
Like I
care of
say,
us.
we're all in this together. Fuck
That's
everything else.
right. Well, the bottom line, we're put on this earth to love each other and help each other along the way.
Exactly. We're put here to exude love. We're here
Yeah,
to show
not, not
you what to shine our love.
that's right. And that's another thing about prison. It's a world of concrete and steel where there is no love. I
Right.
mean, the organization I was in, there was no love in that. I didn't know. Everybody's from somewhere else, you know. The only time I felt anything close to love in there is my homie Johnny and my homie Bobby. We were all together on the hill for a minute, but uh, sometimes it's your own people going to take you out, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you're on your own either way. Gotta
well,
watch your back.
and all the organizations start out, I think, for good, you know. Like I had a friend that was a Latin King Corona holder, and you know that all started out La Raza and all that.
Right.
uh, Hoover started out for a good thing with the disciples.
And then it turned. Yeah. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get, that's like the organization I was in started out for a good thing. But I don't know, you know, if I went back, I don't think I could soldier underneath what it's turned into. Uh, I'd probably try to take it back and turn it into what it was supposed to be, because a good guy
Right.
started that. But you know, you get a bad leader and he twists things. That's why I'm very spiritual, but I'm not. I don't organize religion. I walk in a church, I can feel
Yeah. No.
people looking down on me, and I'm not down in any. If you're going to church and you're praising God, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is God puts rules down. Man changes the rules to fit his own needs, and it, I don't know. My
And,
church
and
is,
and there's a lot lost in the from here to here.
yeah.
You know.
It morphs into something else than what it's supposed to be.
Right.
I
And it turned. I remember when I early on was reading and stuff, and I was into other things, and yeah, they basically changed it from um you are you are beautiful this and you can do so much with yourself and
uh,
embrace this to you know you're gonna go to hell if this or this
that's right. You just took the
controlling
words.
shit, you know what I mean?
You
The
took the
fuck.
words out of my mouth. I mean, whenever I was raised a cradle Catholic, and whenever I went to Catholic grade school, 3 of the years that I was in grade school, two different Catholic grade schools,
Yeah.
and man, them nuns, uh, they used to scare the shit out of me with the shit they would say. I mean, I was terrified all the time, and and it just they've changed the rules. Like if you read the Bible, and now they got like the Orthodox, they're more the way the church was set up. But you read about Moses, and he comes down off the mountain with 10 commandments, and they're all worshiping a golden calf. And he slams the 10 commandments down, breaks me so pissed off.
Right.
That was idolatry, worshiping idols.
Yep.
Well, at church, people are all kneeling down praying to saints. Uh, that's not God. That a saint was a good human being. They lived a good life, and they should be recognized for living a good life. But I ain't gonna pray to them.
Right.
They're not.
You can ask them to pray for you, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not. They're not God. I'm not gonna kneel down in front of a statue. It's no different than a golden calf to me. Um, it's that's just the way I look at it. I'm not saying I'm right, but to me, it's idolatry. Literally, the definition is worshiping an idol,
Right.
and whether it's a calf or a statue of somebody, it's not God. And now the Blessed Mother, I feel close to the Blessed Mother, um, but my beliefs are traditional Christian beliefs, but I've seen a lot of people, they'll say they're Christians, but they'll be just tearing people to shreds.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
really tearing them to shreds. And I told one guy one time, I said, I thought you were a Christian. And he goes, I am. And I said, well, what about, take the plank out of your eye so you can see to take your brother's splinter out, and judge not, lest thee be judged of yourself.
Right.
If you're a Christian, you're not supposed to do that. It's not your place to judge. Uh,
True.
and you want to
Uplift,
change.
man. I mean, the bottom line is, love each other, uplift each other.
That's
Don't
it's
put each
all
other down.
that's what it's all
It's
about.
really basic. When I got to the Catholic high school that I was going to, it was a vocational school. We had this
Yeah,
class called theology, and that's the study of religions, and that kind of opened my eyes to things. And I told myself at that moment, well, that part of the time that I had, sure, I was raised Catholic, but
yeah, I
I
was too.
adopted I adopted all the beautiful things out of each religion that I
Yeah,
thought was righteous. You know what I
that's
mean?
good though. That's good.
Yeah.
I kind of did too. I got a lot of Native American beliefs, and uh, it's. I believe there's a creator. I believe there's a God. That's a fact. But I what got me one day is you get the collection in mass, and you gotta the church lights gotta stay on,
Right.
and the bills gotta be paid. So I understand that. But then they passed around this little cardboard box for the poor. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, you are the richest organization in the world. You have more money than any organization in the world, the Catholic Church
Yeah,
does.
cathedrals with all
You
this
got art
immaculate
that can't
shit.
be put a
Yeah.
price on it. And you've got parishioners from everything you can
Ethnicity.
think
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, if you really wanted to,
You
you
can
could
help
end
them out.
world hunger or put a hell of a dent in it.
Same with those fucking so-called elites.
Yeah, and that's my. Now I'm not down in the Catholic religion. I believe that
No, but they
it's a.
can't do it. They do have the resources to do that.
That's what I'm saying. And also, if I know that there's been a lot of dirty money, blood money, goes through that Vatican bank because it can't be audited because it's a religion,
Tax free.
uh, and there's all kinds of blood money goes through there, and
Oh yeah.
it's and they. I mean, we're humans, so anytime you got human beings in a religion, there's going to be some human beings that do things. We all do things wrong. We're humans, but you shouldn't. If that's what you're really about, then that's what you should be about. And I just think if I had the money, if I had that kind of money, every city in this country,
There wouldn't be no fucking starving ass people.
oh, I would have. I've been homeless. I know how that feels. I've walked all night because I knew if I went to sleep, I was going to freeze to death. I've gone 3, 4 days without anything to eat. I mean, a lot of times I didn't know where I was going to lay my head. But what I would do if I had a lot of money, like Bill Gates or somebody like that, every major city in America would have a hospital sized building. And it would be a place where homeless people could go. It'd be a place where you get mental health help, drug and alcohol treatment for addictions, and you could learn trades there, how to
Right.
do things to get a good job and get you up off the streets. And
Get you a hustle.
yeah,
Yep.
now if you're coming in every night fucked up and drunk just for a place to live, sorry, man, I can't help you.
Yeah.
That tough love's got to exist,
You want to
or
change this shit? Let's change this shit. Yeah.
yeah. But because I mean, my mom, the best thing she ever did for me, bro. I was angry when she did it, but after I got out of the, I won a award of the state. I was on the streets for a couple of years, and she tried to let me come back home. And me and my stepdad were getting into it. And one day she come up to me and she said, "Mark, you're my son, and I love you. I will always love you, but you got to go, sink or swim. My husband's sleeping at the office because he's afraid to go to sleep at night, and you got to go." And at the time I was mad, but that was the best thing my mother ever did for me because now I had to be responsible for my own
You gotta
actions.
take care of your own ass. Yeah.
That's it. If I fucked up, I mean, after that, my
That's on
mother
you.
had this, she would say, end of discussion. When my mom said
I
end
hate
of
that.
discussion,
I hate.
I did
Yeah.
too. But
I
I
used to hurt.
knew there's no sense in even talking about it no more because when she said that, it was a stamp.
It's
It was
done.
done.
Yeah. It's done. Yeah.
And she told me, she said, I'll never bail you out again. I'm not sink or swim was her exact words. And if she wouldn't have done that, she'd have kept enabling me and I wouldn't know how to
Who
take
knows
care of
where you would have been?
myself.
Yep.
So it hurt, but it was the best thing for me and it was the best thing for her. There comes a point when you're helping, 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 and all you're doing is enabling and making it easier for a person to keep fucking up. And
Right.
so that that it hurt, but it helped. It was really a helpful thing in my life.
I got a question for you, or I got a statement or something. What about being in the wind for you in your life? What is
About
being in the
riding,
wind? What is it? What does that mean to you?
Bob Seger rolled me away. It sums it up perfectly. For me, riding, I've never felt more free in my life. You go down a back roads you've never been down before, and you come to a crossroad, and you're like, I wonder what's that way. And you could go any way you want. Uh, it's almost like flying to me. But Bob Seger, Roll Me Away, that song, that sums it up perfect.
It's closest to freedom, right? It's just you got the wind in your hair and
Yeah.
you're in control. It's just you and that motor and those two
Well,
wheels.
and
You
when
know?
I was younger, I've had a lot of bikes, sports bikes.
Yeah.
It was about speed.
Right.
Now it ain't about speed. I just put my feet up on the pegs and I just roll and I feel free. I've never felt that free in my life is just rolling, especially going down some back. I like hitting the back roads and going where I ain't never been, and just seeing what's out there. It's about the ride now. It's not. It's about the journey, not about hurrying up and getting where I'm going.
Right. Getting
It's
there as fast
changed
as you
out there
can and
though.
shit. Yeah.
On the streets, people just ain't paying attention. Everybody's on their phones, and uh, it's like playing dodgeball. with the cars. I've had a couple cars. The one gal was pulling out. There was a car. It was 2-lane road. She looked right to pull out, but didn't even look left the way I was coming from. And I had another car coming in the other lane, and I didn't honk the horn. I just pulled the clutch in. I revved the engine, and she heard that engine, and she locked the brakes up and left me enough of a gap where I could swerve and go in between her because I couldn't go on the shoulder. She was right there, and there was the curb. So if she hit the brakes and stopped, that's why here in St. Anne they got this thing. Whenever I got it inspected, because it's a custom bike,
Or flaca.
you got 2 numbers on the frame, and the guy that inspected it, he says everything looks good, but I can't pass it. I said, why? He said, because it's too loud. There's no baffles. And I called the guy that built the bike. He says, there's two. He said, I got a 12-inch baffle on each one of those pipes. How old is this guy? And I said, well, he's owned that shop since I was a kid. He's up there. He said, well, tell him to look in there. And loud pipes do save lives. It lets
Yeah,
you
they
know.
do.
It saved me. I was only doing 35, 40, but who wants to hit the side of a car doing 35, 40?
But with that
And
loud
I
pipe, they
watched
can
her.
hear you coming. Yep.
She did not even look my way. She just went right out. And
Oblivious.
if I seen what she was doing, that she wasn't going to stop, and I just pulled that clutch in and revved it, and it was loud enough she heard it and locked the brakes up. And but there's been a few times out there that and it's because people are, I don't know, man. They're in a big damn rush to get nowhere, and they got there. A lot of people's on. My buddy Shane just got hit again. He's gone through 3 bikes. The first one, she went right into his ass end, and she was on the phone. He's sitting at a stoplight, and she ran right into the back of him. It went on top of his bike, a full dresser, and knocked him across the intersection. And then this last one, the guy come from a side street and hit him, T-boned him on his bike. And he's going to have 2 more surgeries on his foot. It's going to be a minute before he
Man.
rides again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And, well, then all my brothers were flipping out because the word was the guy didn't stop. And so everybody's hunting. So now I'm thinking, oh, God, how do I keep these? It's like cat herding with my friends, trying to
Right.
keep them for, I don't,
Calm down, guys. Calm down.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then I found out the guy did stop, and he said, are you okay? And he called 911. And then he took off. He might have had a warrant. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he stopped, made sure he was alive and going to be okay, and 911 was coming. And I let everybody know that. I said, you can't. If you had a warrant or something, you'd be gone too. At least the guy stopped. Uh, Yeah, like you said, calm down, calm down. But I don't know. Shane kind of brings it on himself, though. He's full throttle everywhere he goes, full throttle. That
Yeah.
Chips,
Something like that.
we were talking to Poncharella the other night. He got a fat boy. I drove all the way up northern Missouri, took him up there to look at it, and he only paid $5,000 for it. And it used to be a Texas police officer bike that they trained motorcycle cops on.
Okay.
And it had a badge on the tank and everything. And it was sitting up on the stand in the storage thing. He gets on this bike and I'm following back. I'm doing 120 trying to keep up with him, and he's pulling away from me. And the whole time I'm thinking, dear God, please don't let these tires disintegrate on him. You don't know what kind of shape them tires are. It's been sitting for 2 years.
Yeah. 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 The rubber's all dried up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was up on the stand, but still, tires go bad, and you only got 2. And I'm a nervous wreck picturing these tires. I'm flashing my lights, trying to get them to pull over and say, "Hey, bro, I know you like going fast, but I don't want to have to watch you kill yourself."
Right.
But that's how he rides, and he's a good rider. But you're asking for trouble riding like that, and he's got a get back whip too. And I told him, I said, dude, you're gonna get yourself killed like that. It's got a ball bearing, big ball bearing on it, and somebody cuts him off, piss him off, he'll come up alongside him and hit your windshield with that. And I told him it makes no sense arguing with a 1.5 ton vehicle when you're on a bike. You,
Yeah.
you, you're
Yeah.
gonna get yourself killed one of these days doing that shit.
You ain't gonna win that battle.
No, and you know, everybody just shoots everybody nowadays. It's not like it used to be. Where the way it should be, if it's got to be that way, is two guys with their fist, and that's it. When one's done, that's it, and then you get over it. It's done. It's not like that no more.
But there's nothing like being in the wind.
No, there's not. No, there's not. You've heard that Bob Seger roll me away, ain't you?
I just played it.
Oh, did you? My
Yeah.
mouth's going
I
so
was I
fast.
was playing it. I played it. It was the one before this.
My mouth goes faster than windshield wipers on a duck's ass, man. I don't know. It's just the way I'm wired. It's the bipolar in me, I guess. Uh, yeah, that's Bob Seger. You play a lot of good music on your channel. You play a lot of old music. I don't hear on the radio anymore.
Somebody's got to do it.
We had KC here. It's a radio station.
Yeah.
And we were really lucky because they played a lot of the new music from the East and West Coast back in the day.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for KC, we wouldn't have got none of that music here.
That's
It,
crazy.
it was the only channel that played that good stuff. Now there's more channels that do now, but old Bob Seger died, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's still around.
I hope he is, because I like Bob, man.
Yeah.
He's got some
Bob's
good
the shit,
songs.
man. Straight
You
on.
know, uh, uh, Ted Nugent.
The
I
Nuge.
didn't. I thought most guys in that industry, they party a lot. He didn't party like that. I didn't never knew that.
Yeah, he's straight.
He's a good bow hunter. Supposed to be a real good bow hunter. I got a guy I used to cut his grass when I had my grass cutting business going here. His daughter goes up it's into Canada every year and bear hunts with the bow, and they drop her off by herself. You're pretty badass. You're gonna go take a bear down with the bow and arrow, and they can't have a sidearm up there. It's against the law. So every year she goes and gets a bear, man, and that's crazy. Piss that bear off. That bear's gonna outclimb you, outswim you, and outrun you.
Yeah.
You
Bears, man.
guys, you know why I want to go on a beach? I don't want to go on a beach to swim. I want to go on a beach and get some of that white menudo. I love it, man. The red, I don't like the rojo
The
too
Menudo
much
Blanco.
because it kind of fucks with my stomach. It kind of red sauce.
Yeah.
But man, when I was in Arizona, I'd eat the shit out of that menudo blanco, man. That's the stuff. And our neighbor around Christmas time, the women get together and they'd make all these what was it, man? We get the green corn and the tamales, man. And they made some tamales that was like candy, like pink on the
Yeah, the sweet
inside.
ones. Yep. Sweet tamale.
Oh, dude, I miss the tamales.
They used to stand outside the stores and
Yeah, they'd sell them outside the stores during the year, but at Christmas time, it seemed like the women would all get together and make them.
Yep.
And,
Christmas time's the time.
yeah,
That's the
and
time.
I love them. We got one restaurant. My son's friend Moses, his family's from Mexico, and his grandma hit up at the casino big time, dude. I'm talking millions.
Woo.
And they bought out the whole city block up here. And they did. They got a badass Mexican. They make real Mexican food, not that Taco Bell shit. That's an insult to Mexican food.
That is an insult.
But I'm talking real Mexican food. Me and Amy go up there a lot. I get the beef
All that good
fajitas.
stuff. Yeah.
And but I love menudo, man. Most of my friends, and I found out too how to
So, Timo.
grill chili peppers out there. I was grilling one time, and dude goes, "What are you doing? Don't you sweat yours?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he got a little brown, like a paper bag, you know, that you put your 40 ounce in,
Yeah.
and put them in there and twisted it. And he said, "Let it sit for a minute," and that skin just peeled right off, man. I mean, I didn't even know it had a skin, you know.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of shit out there, man, and it tastes better. You get that skin off. But I showed my homies when I got back here a lot of stuff. We lived on Calle Carmela, and a buddy of mine come out, and he's I love him, but he's uncouth. He's worse than me. And I go, you remember the street, right? Because I was done. I wanted to go home with wife, and he wanted to stay out a little bit. I said, you know the name of the street, right? He goes, Cali Carmela. I said, not Cali. I said
Anyway.
I said the two L's are pronounced Y, like a Y. He goes, whatever. Cali, Calle. I said, you uncouth animal, man. You can't even be taught nothing. I mean,
Oh shit.
he is. He's an animal, man.
What's up, Randy? Timo.
Cali. That's what he said. Cali Carmela. I said, no, Calle.
Amazing.
Illiterate, man. He could barely speak English. And I tried, whenever we left Arizona, I was starting to understand Spanish decent.
Yeah.
We had the people who put our siding up, they were from Mexico, and I was out there trying to practice my Spanish with them. And what really blew my mind, in the morning I take coffee out to them, and you know, because I used to work construction and stuff, and then I'd take them out drinks, cold water, and shit like that. And then at lunch I'd make some sandwiches up, and the one guy said, "Man, we're not used to this at all." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said that they were getting a drink out of a guy's hose one day, and the guy come out fucking yelling at him, man.
The
I
fuck
said,
is that, man?
that's just an asshole right there, bro. I mean, it gets out here in Arizona. You
ain't asking for bottled water. You're drinking out of a hose. Jeez.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's one of those dudes that he's got files for his files, and he's just a stuck up fucking sick fuck, you know.
Jerk, yeah.
And I just that's what the way I was raised. That's what you do. Somebody's working at your place. You give them something to drink. You fucking lunchtime take sandwiches out, and it's the right thing to do. And I've worked and know what it's like having homeowners that are assholes.
Right.
And plus, if you're being cool to somebody like that, they're going to do a better job for you. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're gonna dot their I's and cross the T's, man. All the little stuff, they say, you know what? Let's just do this for him. Fuck it.
Mr. Cali Carmela, when we were out in Arizona, we were going to a Carl's Jr. Or no, it was it was Carl's Jr. And he's getting all ignorant with the gal doing the drive-through.
Yeah.
And he got done with his order after being a complete asshole. And he goes, "Where are you gonna get, man?" I said, "Nothing."
You already fucked it up.
We got through. He goes, "Why didn't you get nothing?" I said, "After what you just did, you're a dumbass. Why are you gonna fuck with somebody that's playing with your food, bro?"
They're gonna spit in your food. They're gonna do whatever the fuck.
If I was her, I'd done worse than that. He was being a prick. And after that whole thing, I'm like, I ain't getting shit to eat because I want meat, not whatever she's gonna put on that burger.
Right.
And he was being an ass just to be an ass.
Yeah, that's never good.
Nah,
That never works out well.
nah. Me and him don't talk no more either. I mean, he, he he there's certain I got a moral center. At my worst, there's certain lines you don't cross. And he crossed one of them, and once you cross that line, there's just no,
There's no
you know,
going
I'm
back.
not gonna show up and put a fake smile on my face and act like I like you when I don't respect you no more.
Right.
But yeah, he crossed the serious line, and so we don't talk no more. Uh, and I don't trust him no more neither. You know, he sent me a message one time and said, "Man, what's up?" What I said, you know, you can make a mistake, bro, and that can be forgiven, but I don't trust you no more. And when I don't trust you, you're useless to me.
You're done,
Uh,
yeah.
I can't depend on you, and you know, there's a lot of reasons I ain't gonna go into because it's all negative and bad. But yeah, he don't come around no more.
Yeah, no, man.
So you should see the shit she does on this Minecraft, dude. Like I'll build a bridge or something, and she'll come behind me and just trick it out. I mean, she really got some cool shit. She made
Turn it into a
Viking.
castle or something.
Oh, dude, she's got a whole town that is. She's got a church. She's got houses. She's got a candle maker's house, and she's got a farm. And I mean, it's cool though. She's got Viking ships she made out in the harbor and all this shit, dude. And I mean, it looks for taking little square blocks. It
Amy's
looks,
hooking it up.
dude, it's good. She's really creative. They got trees in the game, but she makes her own trees that look better than theirs. And
There you go.
I mean, it's badass. If she gets a wide view here, I'll show you real quick. But what happened is I was playing with her, and I wanted to make a zoo, and she goes, "Wait, wait, wait, wait." She goes, "You can make the zoo here," and to me, it was way over here. You know, she didn't want me. Well, first I was making this castle underground, and it was going to be like, you know, the Wicked Witch. Oh, wee, oh. And she
Yeah.
come down there and she built made mushrooms and all these lights and made it all bright and happy. And so then I was going to make a zoo outside, and she said, "Well, you can make it way over here." And so I said, "I'm leaving." I packed my bags and I moved real far away.
Oh shit. And what? Uh-oh.
But Amy's very creative, man. I mean, she got a lot of different talents, and Amy can sing, dude. I mean, she can sing. Uh, when I say she can sing, I mean she's good enough that she could
Come on,
probably
Amy.
she could sing, bro.
Give us a
We,
little bit, Amy. Come on.
I was telling all the kids, your mom can sing. When Josh was moving out, packing his stuff, she was singing, doing dishes, and he come up, he goes, "What is that, Mom?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God, she can sing." I said, "What do you think I've been telling you?" She's got a beautiful voice. We
Awesome.
went. I knew she sang in choir, and I knew she sang in the school chorus or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the day I realized how good she could sing, we had lived in Arizona about a year, and I used to get on dart leagues and play darts.
Yeah.
So I had darts that night, and she went with me. And there was two. They weren't real cowboys. They were fake cowboys, you know, with
Right.
the boots and the hat, and they drive a truck with no dirt on it.
Yeah.
And they had a karaoke machine. So they come around with the songs, and I said, "Why don't you sing?" And so she picks out Bette Midler, The Rose. And the
Ooh.
guy goes, "Well, somebody else is already singing that." I said, "So what? Let her sing what she wants. Maybe she'll sing it better."
All right.
And so I'm over. It's my shot. I got two bullseyes, and I'm just getting ready to throw, wanting to get another hat trick.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I hear the guy go, "And next up, Amy, the karaoke virgin. I went nuts, dude. I'm trying to drag these two dudes over the sound system, calling them texts, telling them I'll take them outside and beat their ass. Some woman goes, "That must be her husband." I said, "Yeah, she ain't no virgin either." I mean, I flipped out. The bartender goes, "You need to leave." And I said, "See that picture of beer?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "You better get more people, motherfucker." And the whole time, the show must go on. She did not miss, I heard her, did not miss a lick. She sang that whole fucking song till the end, and it was beautiful. And the guy on my dark team come up to me and he goes, "Mark." I go, "What?" He goes, "Dude, that just means it's her first time singing karaoke." And I went from like King Kong and just shrunk down to this little asshole. I felt like shit.
You're
I had to
like,
go.
oh, is that what he meant?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was being an ass,
Yeah.
disrespecting her because I told him let her sing what she wants.
Right.
And then I had to go. I went around apologizing to everybody and making myself look like an ass, you know. But yeah, I thought I never thought about the virgin, her first time singing it. I don't know. It was a bad night, but she did not stop singing. Here's her husband making an ass out of himself, and she just singing her heart out.
So must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on, and I'm telling you, bro, it was good, real good. I'm not just saying it because she's my wife. She can sing.
Well, make a short or something with her in the background or something,
I had one.
belting out a song.
I had one.
We were just
And
messing around.
we were just clowning around, but like Dolly and a few other people I sent it to, they're like, "Damn, she can sing." But it was. You ever seen that vacation, Christmas or no, European vacation,
Okay.
where she's singing, "Hey, big spender."
Yeah.
Well, it's me and her singing. We were just clowning, and I said, "Sing for me." And I get her to start singing that, and I'm doing the ba da ba da da ba da da ba da, you know.
Yeah.
And she didn't know I was recording her, but I lost it, dude. I can't. It's hard for me to get her to sing. And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel guilty about it because she's got such a beautiful voice. I feel like I wish she would have done something, but because I really think she's got a gift, man, and
She does.
oh yeah, she can sing. And she's very creative too. When we went to Arizona, I was missing the winters, the snow, and now I hate it. But I was missing it when we first moved out there because that's all I knew. And she built us a fireplace out of construction paper on the wall at Christmas to hang the stockings off of. And I don't know. I'm
Very
proud of her.
talented.
I'm very proud of her too. She started out as a caregiver and she's worked her way up in Arizona. She was managing three, and I mean, I'm talking like 13,000 a month to live in these places. Very high end nursing or assisted living homes.
Yeah.
And she met some amazing people there. But she was doing everything except for writing scripts. She
Shit.
was ordering the food, doing all the when everybody works, the scheduling, and she did everything. And
Managing. Yep.
if somebody got a bed sore, she fired their ass with the quickness, man, because they weren't rotating that person, they weren't
All
moving
right. You
around
gotta
like they were supposed
keep
to.
them going. Yeah.
I tried to get her to. I said, the government puts out all kinds of grants, and you could probably get a small business loan and then them old people would have somebody that is going to treat them with dignity and be good to them. And she said she won't do it because nobody wants to work. Uh, Nobody wants to work around here. They show up and they don't work, or they don't show up. And
Right.
what she does now, the company she works for, they send people to the houses just during the day to take care of their needs during the day and to clean up a little bit, while they're there.
Yeah.
But she, something like that, when there's a person that's paralyzed or something in bed, and they're depending on you to be there to get fed and other things,
Clean up
and
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you don't show up. I mean, damn. So that, she says, just too much of a headache nowadays getting people to work. Everybody wants something for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
But she
Exactly.
started at the
It's for
bottom,
nothing.
and she even knows the insurance aspect of that business. And then there was, you saved, it was like 200 something $1,000. Their company got audited, and she went through the audit from the year before and found over $200,000 in the company's favor. So when I say she knows that business
He
inside,
knows it.
outside,
Yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid, all the different insurance, what covers what. Uh, I'm proud of her because she literally started at the bottom wiping asses, and
Right.
she worked her way all the way up to the top. Uh, when our son Josh was born in Arizona, we ran into a situation. We looked into daycare, and I was working as a carpenter at the time, framing houses, and she was making a lot more than me. And what I was making didn't even cover daycare, bro. I worked there like a year and a half, and I think got up to $9 an hour or something. And so she said, "Well, you're going to need to stay home and take care of Josh, and I'll work."
Right.
And I did that for a year. Well, until Josh got big enough to go to work with me, and I started my own business out there. But don't nobody want to say to me, all she does is stay home and take care of the kids, because I'll
That's
come
bullshit.
unglued,
Yeah.
man. If you're doing it like you're supposed to, you're doing the laundry, you're cooking, you're doing the
Right.
homework with the kids, you're doing all that. I would rather be on a roof getting hit in the head with a tear off shovel, dude. It's the hardest job I've ever done in my life. You want to pull your hair out,
Right. You have to
and
have patience.
it's a hard job. And when a woman's doing that, believe me, she's earning every bit of her keep, because it's 24/7, 7 days a week. And the only
The
time
clock.
I had a hard time is when I would get sick. When I get sick, I want some chicken noodle soup in my mouth.
Right.
Uh, Amy gets sick. Everybody else is sick. She's still going taking care of everybody else. When it comes to being sick, I think women are tougher than men.
God bless her.
And women are designed. I think women are supposed to. They're more the nurturing, loving, compassionate
Yeah, well,
out of
that
this.
comes naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, and me, I don't know. All I know is if Amy was a stay home mom, we'd be going out regular, so she don't pull her hair out, because it's hard, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard. I love my children, but especially when you got four of them, it gets crazy. But I've heard a lot of people say that all she does is take care of the kids, And my buddy Dwayne, when him and his wife got a divorce, the judge ordered that, and this is the only guy I've ever seen do this. They were both real mature with the breakup, but the judge goes, "Okay, you're gonna have to pay $1,600 a month." And Dwayne said, "Your Honor, that's not enough to take care of my kids, right?" And he said, "I'll pay $3,200 a month." And until the day that man died, all his kids were over 18, and he was still sending her $3,200 a month.
Wow.
And I think that's stand up,
Yeah.
because a
Giving.
lot of the war is so brutal in divorces sometimes that the man don't want to give a penny more than he's supposed to. And him and her both, they put that behind them. They did what was best for the kids.
Right.
I had to come outside for a sec.
Give me a second. I gotta go to the restroom. Hang on a sec.
All right, bro. I got the tree topped. That hole right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a possum lives up in there. The lady that used to live across the street there, they fed this stray cat for like 10 years. Well, they moved out and they couldn't take the cat with them. It was feral. So I started feeding it. And I come home one night and the cat and another cat sitting on the top steps. I'm like, all right, you got your girlfriend. And I came home a couple days later and I swear, right there on the front porch, there was a cat, a possum in the middle, and another cat. I said, this shit's getting out of hand. Feed the whole damn forest here. How you doing, Diana? I'm sorry I talk so much. I should pay attention to the chat more. Oh shit, my battery's getting low too. I better plug it in. Last time I ran out of battery. My phone can only take so much talking. There's a Blessed Mother. That was my grandma's. I repainted it because it used to be just white. It had like 20 coats of white paint on that. And I told Amy, I said, I need something for the Blessed Mother's lips. And she come out with this bright red fingernail polish. I said, I'm not going to dress the Blessed Mother up like a hooker. So we found some pink fingernail polish. I said, that's better. But it was my grandma's statue. I got to plug this phone in. Remember last time I talked so much, my phone ran out of battery?
You have been able to talk a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should pay attention more, like on my channel.
Hey, Tashunka. I really appreciate you, bro.
Well, I appreciate you too. You're my safe place from the storm, man.
Well, we're gonna keep it that way, right, Diana?
I go in there with you, and it's like you have a bad day and shit's going bad, and you hop in there, and it's just peaceful, mellow. Everybody loves everybody.
Lay back and enjoy. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a good time in there. It's the place to go to recharge, you know.
Appreciate that, man.
Well, that's one of the things I love about you, man. You're all about peace and love, and
that's all it should be about, you know.
Yep. See, I used to be real negative, and my homie Nate, he's like you are.
Yeah.
And when he moved in here with us, I was really paying attention to him. And he's got a lot of things going on with his health too.
Right.
And I was like, I want some of that. You know, just being happy and at peace. And I at first I had to meditate. I mean, I really had to focus and try to think positive.
Right.
And it got easier and easier and easier. And now, like with my health,
yeah,
I don't say I might not have long. I say, look at all the extra time I got.
There you go. There you go.
You got to, because that kind of stuff.
You got to watch the wording.
Yeah. That kind of stuff, though, we're all got a debt to pay someday, and it's going to happen to all of us.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, you just be grateful for what you got. I got a wonderful wife. My house is paid off. I got it better than a lot of people. And I got, put it this way, God's been more merciful to me than I ever deserved. And I'm grateful for that. But and the other thing, you surround yourself with positive people. If the people you're with all the time are negative all the time, it's going to rub off on you, and you're going to be negative.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting that all the time to make the room peaceful.
And that's where I found my positive people was on YouTube. You know, and whenever there's a channel that there's a lot of drama going on, I check out, man. I don't want to hear it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of tubers that I follow and stuff, but once they get into like going at each other or whatever, then I
Yeah.
kind of back off. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going back to my spot.
Well, what surprised me about it was some of the people I seen doing it was in the prison genre, and I was like, I don't know what prison you've been in, but we didn't do that shit. No, there was none of that arguing. It's just all of a sudden somebody get messed up, you know.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, let's go then.
Yeah, you know, it's like this is a funny story. We was going to poker night one night, and I had to stop at this ATM, and I swear, whenever I pull in this gas station, there's white women and children running out of
Holy
this gas station.
karma.
So I go in, and I can't figure this ATM machine out. It's not the one I usually go to. And these two dudes, man, they're like 6'2", nose to nose, screaming at each other. And I didn't look to see who was screaming at each other when I went in. And I was starting to get aggravated. I couldn't figure the machine out. And I started to turn to yell, "Shut up," you know, because they were just screaming at each other so loud. And I turned and I seen these two gargantuans. And I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't say nothing before I turned around. And I tapped to see if I had my knife on me, and I did. And my buddy Bobby comes in. He goes, dude, he goes, let's get out of here. I said, I gotta get my money. He goes, the cops are gonna be coming. I said, I don't care. I need to get my money, man, to play cards. And he goes, please, Mark. But I mean,
You don't want to get
literally,
caught up in that crap.
white people are running out of the damn store, and here's Mark going in to get his cheese out of the machine. But whenever he said, please, Mark, I said, okay, let's go, man. So we left. But I'm glad I caught myself before I opened my mouth, because I remember I thought, mental note, you start hearing thumping, you better pay attention, because these big boys going to be moving some shit around in here. But two men look silly screaming at each other like that for like so bad that people
Yeah,
are running out of the building. You
just
know,
barking at each other. Yep.
yeah, that happened. That's why I don't go to the bar a lot anymore. Nate, I went with him one night, and I swear there's like 3 fights in a matter of 20 minutes, and these two guys are yelling at each other. And this is our old bar that we used to meet up at. I said, hey man, I said, you see over there across the street, right in between those two buildings on the alley there where that big tree is? They said, yeah. I said, go over there, man. You guys can fight over there. The cops won't see you. You get out of their
There's a good
system.
spot I picked out for you.
Well, they started yelling at each other again. I said, you don't want to fight. You just want to make noise,
Yeah.
you know? And then there was this guy was yelling, saying, he'll take anybody here. And he made direct eye contact with Nate and started walking towards Nate. And I stepped up to him. I said, you don't want none of that. This kid takes off running down the sidewalk, full sprint, falls down, face plants, and knocks himself out. And I'm like, Nate goes, is he okay? I said, I don't know, dude. But this is the way it is now, you know?
Yeah.
I think men look silly yelling at each other like that, arguing over the phone. And
Yeah.
I don't know. But
And it's and even worse on YouTube.
well, yeah, because I mean, it's like a dog barking that ain't got no teeth, you know.
It's just barking. It's a bunch of barking. No, no,
It's
no,
it's drama. Is
no
what
resolve. You're still there. You still end up in the same place.
you know. What's sad though, bro, and I've noticed this too. There's some people that are really trying to get a good message out, and people don't want to hear that. They want to hear the drama. They want to. And I've seen two channels going at each other, and there'll be other people on the sideline stirring that shit up, stirring it up, you know. And whoever stirs the pot should be made to lick the proverbial spoon. You can't hear me? What? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Uh-uh.
I can't hear you. What happened?
Let me see. Did you hit the mute?
Okay. Yeah, those are stupid headphones. Okay. Go ahead.
The stupid. He sounds like me. That's what I say. These stupid headphones.
Because I moved them right now, and if I move them the wrong way, they'll fucking connect.
You got any
Oh, wait a
vinyl?
minute. What's going on?
You got any records? Any vinyl?
Do I have vinyl?
Yeah.
I got 8 crates there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 13, and then probably like 4 in the closet.
You know the sound of the
About
needle
17.
the sound of the needle on an album.
Yeah.
Just that unique sound of vinyl.
Yeah, it's so soothing.
I love it. I sent Amy to get some records. We got a record player.
Yeah.
I sent her to get some, and she come back with Peter, Paul, and Mary, Kenny Rogers, and Captain and Tennille. And I said, well, we got Do That To Me One More Time and Love Will Keep Us Together.
Do that
Puff the
to me
Magic
one
Dragon.
more time. Yeah.
And then I said they didn't have no Zeppelin, no Deep Purple, nothing like. She said no, it's all they had.
It wasn't like vintage vinyl. It was just
We got my buddy Bunky, Jan Ratterman. His older brother and sister, man, that's where I got turned on to good music. They had like old Nazareth, Uriah Heep, Deep
My dad
Purple.
likes Uriah Heep. Yep.
I love Uriah Heep. And you know, my dad and stepmom used to listen to like, and Barbara Streisand's a great singer. She got talent. Neil Diamond, but that's kind of shit they listen to.
Yeah.
And I heard all that stuff on, over at Bunky's, man, and I was like, wow. And my kids one time they said, Dad, I hate to admit it, but your generation of music's better than ours. I said, that wasn't my generations of music. That was
before, yeah.
yeah, that was before me.
I got me a
But
Mino Streisand's collection.
I used to love Easy E when he came out, but that's because I used to be vulgar all the time.
Right,
And
right,
Easy
right.
E, man, he was more vulgar
It
than
fit
me.
right in. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's messed up. That AIDS took him quick too. It seemed like
Oh,
real
so
quick,
they say.
huh?
They say it was that.
Oh,
There's
see,
a
I
lot of
don't know.
controversy about that.
I know that whole industry. There's a lot of things I don't know nothing about all that. And I used to like Tupac. I always said Tupac to me, he seemed like a philosopher. Like he was a
Right,
real deep thinker. And I think if he'd have lived, maybe he'd have done something for his people too. I really
right.
do.
Might have did something great.
Yeah. And then
Both of those
Snoop
guys.
Dogg, Snoop, Martha Stewart, she got insider trading, went to prison. Now she cooking pop brownies with Snoop, which is a good gig. But you got all these. There was 3 Republican, 1 Democrat senator that was doing insider trading. They didn't even get investigated. But Snoop, I seen a video with him, and he was on a show, and somebody said, "Have you ever smoked with somebody that outsmoked you?" And Snoop said, "Yeah." And the guy said, "Who?" He said, "Willie Nelson."
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Willie Nelson.
Fucking Willie.
He said, "Willie will smoke your brain out." But
He just keeps smoking, looking at you.
there's a song too. I think it's called "I'll Never Smoke with Willie Again" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willie.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the heaviest hitter in that game. Willie Nelson with the smoking.
I'd like
Yeah. My buddy that grew, he grew. He had that cultivate license in Arizona.
Yeah.
My buddy Tom come out and brought this gal with him, and we went over to Mickey's, and she goes, "You can't get me high enough." We carried her out of there, man. It's the only time too I ever seen my stepdad high. My stepdad he was by the book. I mean, had files for his files. If pot would have been legal, maybe he would have done it, but he was just a straight edge. And my buddy Mickey had cancer, and my mom, she liked Mickey a lot. Mickey, she, she would notarize all his stuff for his
Yeah.
cars. And when he got cancer, we went over to, he lived in a little trailer, like one you pull behind your car.
Yeah.
And he was lighting up joint after joint after joint. And he grew medical grade shit. And my stepdad rarely talks and shit. He was laughing and talking, and my mom leaned over. She said, I think John's high. I said, yeah, I think John's high.
I think he might be high too.
Oh, he was having a ball, though. I was growing a plant in high school, and I called him Robert Plant. I should have called him Roberta because she was a female, but
Yeah.
Robert Plant, and I had it out on the back porch. I come home one day, and my fucking plant was, his little limbs were strewn all over the yard. And I said to my mom, I said, what happened to my plant? Well, my stepdad had somebody from work come over. And the guy goes, my mom said, the guy goes, that's a nice plant you got there, John. And my stepdad said, yeah, that's some kind of vegetable my stepson's growing. He said, that's not a vegetable, John.
It's not a vegetable.
You got you a marijuana plant there, John. But yeah,
I
poor
should
Robert.
hook you up.
He took Robert Plant out. There it is. That's it right there. Is that David Allen Coe?
This is Toby Keith.
Toby Keith. I was sad to hear he died. He seemed like he was a decent dude.
Yeah.
Toby Keith. He had some funny songs too.
Yeah.
I like that. Have you seen that I Ain't As Good As I Once Was video?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. You gotta watch that sometime. I'll send you a link to it. I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon too, because Amy's yawning. And,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
we're good.
I could go hoarse, and you guys could have ear damage.
What's that last song you said?
Toby Keith, As Good As I Once Was. The video with him in it, the certified video for it, it's hilarious, man. It's just absolutely hilarious, the video.
All right. I got
And the
that.
song's funny too, and I can relate to it.
Yeah. Usually on these ones, I like to keep it at 2 hours. We're at a little bit over 3 hours.
Yeah, well, I could talk to you all day, bro. I mean,
I knew it was gonna go over.
well, I'm a talker. Nate, we went to the store. He was looking, them cases you put your toothbrush in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He was looking for one, and I was in there clowning. I said, I know where there's one, but it's a long drive. He goes, where? I said, Toity Toyd and Toyd Street down at the Boyd up in New York,
Toy Street.
Yeah. There was this old lady in there, and Nate goes, man, you ain't right. You ain't right. This old lady comes up. She goes, actually, he's quite entertaining. And then I was talking I talked to everybody in the stores, and I didn't used to be that way.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I got sociable in my old age again.
Change came over you.
Well, yeah. I'm glad it did, though.
I am too.
I used to be an ass, man. But that's another thing I learned, bro, is you can't beat yourself up when the rest of your life when you do something wrong. You have to forgive yourself. You have to learn from it and move on, because constantly going back and beating yourself up, it's not healthy at all, man.
No.
And you can't change nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a waste of time.
So why cry about it? Why this and that? Move on.
That's it. Well, I had a breakthrough. I was talking to a friend, for their privacy, I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
But they went through a lot of shit as a kid, and they asked me, how do you deal with pain from your childhood? And I never thought about it before. It was trying to help that person that I had like an epiphany. I said, well, I try not to live there. I try not to go there in my mind, and it hit me, And I told her, I said, wow, it's a trip. I never thought about that before. She said, what? I said, it don't matter how many counselors you go to. It don't matter how much many pills they give you. It anytime you go back there, it's gonna hurt. There's no magic bullet to make certain pains go away. So the
Right.
best way you can deal with it is don't live there in your mind.
Yep.
Don't go back. Simple example, you got a mother to pass away or something. The thought of your mother passing away, it's gonna hurt. And if you live there constantly in your brain, it's gonna hurt. So
Yeah.
the
That's
trick
that's
is
the
move
deal.
on and not live there in
That's the
your head.
deal. The deal about being conscious of what your mind is telling you.
That's it. And that's how you
You know.
control your vibrations.
Right.
Is if you're thinking of all the negative stuff, you're sending out those low frequency vibes, and
Yeah. You want to vibe higher.
that's
You
where
want
I
to be in
learned
that
that
in that
too.
in that beautiful state. You know.
In the joint, I wasn't privy to any information at first in that organization I was in.
Yeah.
But I remember one time shit was getting ready to kick, and I had been told nothing. And you could feel it, dude. I mean, you could feel it. And that's when I became
The
consciously
vibes.
aware that we what we're feeling bumps off of us and it
We are
affects everything.
constantly emitting vibrations.
Yeah. Well,
Everything.
it's like I
Everything.
call it the
Everything.
ripple effect. If you do something to somebody physically, even that sends ripples out. It doesn't just affect that one person.
Right.
Uh, and if I could go back in time and change those ripples and take back things, I wouldn't, because I might not never have met my wife. I might not be alive right now. You don't fuck with those ripples, but the ripples you can control and not put bad out, you definitely want to try to control that.
Right.
But my past mistakes, I don't beat myself up about it no more. And if I could change it, I wouldn't, because I mean, me and you might not be talking right now. Uh, and I think sometimes people go through things so they can learn something. And if
It's
you
always that.
and then you can help somebody else going through the same or similar things,
Right.
Uh, that's what we're here for. That's what I think, is to help each other on the way and to learn.
Amen.
Uh, we all got
That's it.
something, and everybody's got a story,
That's
and
it, bro.
we all got something to teach somebody, and we all got something that we can learn from other people. So
We can all write a book.
I can definitely write a book. I can
Yep.
talk a book.
Yeah, you can.
I always
Do
say
an
sorry
audible.
for the novel in my
Do an audible.
comments. Yeah, sorry for Mark's Audible books. I'm working on I sing all the
You
time.
hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I sing a lot, just goofy shit,
Right.
and I'm working on videos for my homies when I'm gone. Uh, because I know they bitch about it all the time, my singing.
Yeah.
But I know when I'm gone, they'll be like, "Man, I wish that fucker was here just to hear one, even singing one of them stupid fucking songs." So, you know how you can take those videos now and take a picture and make it
Yeah.
look like the picture's talking.
Well, yeah,
So,
you do that.
I've got some of me singing.
You got some
Mark's
of me
greatest.
too.
I'm working on the Christmas album too. Instead of chestnuts, it's Chester's nuts roasting on an open fire. That's my gift. If I have any gift, it's taking the melody to a song and instantly making a dirty song out of it. I mean, I could,
Entertainment. Yep.
yeah. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
I
You
appreciate
already
you
know,
too.
Tashunka. Damn, I
And I'm
really
sorry, man,
appreciate you,
I
bro.
talk a lot.
I'm
I,
sorry I took forever to do this. You know.
oh no, man, you got a real life too, man. Real life comes for YouTube every day.
I
But I
think.
got
Well, I
I
already had a bunch of people in the chat say. I think Diana said this is a great interview. You always said this is a great stream. A lot of people enjoyed it. Some people that sat here and listened. Actually listened, and yeah, I thank you very much, brother. I really thank you,
If
brother.
they could keep up with that, they could keep up with an auctioneer. You know,
And much love to Amy.
there's Amy.
Your backbone.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
she
forever
is.
loved.
She
That's right.
is. Without her, I'd be lost, bro. But nothing but respect, man. You have a good one, okay?
Yes, sir. And if anybody missed it, you can go out, watch the replay. It's not going on members only, nothing like that. It's gonna sit right here for everybody.
Well,
All
I'm
right.
gonna send you that link too to that song. So whenever you're done, you can watch that song.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it
It's
out.
it's funny as hell. All right, nothing but
Yeah, I
love,
wrote it
bro.
down. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so
I,
much, brother.
I appreciate you too, bro. Peace
You
out,
guys have a good
everybody.
night, okay?
I will. Peace out, Diana.
And
Take
remember,
care.
the
Bye,
crust is
Pepe.
joint is your casa too, man.
You know, that's right.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Damn, what an interview, huh? Woo! Tashunka, you guys didn't see that coming, huh? I knew what was coming. I love that man, that brother, man. I love him. Right on, people. Right on. All right, so I'm gonna end this, folks. Okay. And yes, I know some of you are like, "Well, are you gonna go live again?" Yeah, I'm gonna go live for about another 45 minutes tops. Okay. We're gonna go outside because I want to smoke. All right. So let's do this. All right. I'm gonna grab a couple things right here. I'm gonna grab the laptop. I'm gonna grab the gimbal. Um, that and the speaker. I already got this other thing. Um, and we'll go outside and we'll play a little bit, a couple tunes, and do what we do. Um, and then move on to the next day and kick some ass over there. All right. Appreciate you guys. This is not goodbye. I'm gonna come back right back on this channel right here, and we'll do a little regular stream that I do. Okay. All right, folks. I really appreciate you guys, man. 48 fucking likes. 48 people came in and said, you know what, that's what's up. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. That says a lot about my brother Tashunka. All right. You guys handle. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab this shit and go downstairs, and maybe I'll have a beer too. All right. What are they? Wait, what do you got? Oh, I thought that was that thing. This is that thing. Let me see. Backup weed. You know who gave me that backup weed? El marihuano. Gracias, el marihuano. I'm not using it right now, but I will sooner or later. Fucking roll some joints out of it. Ah, shit, come on. Okay, there we go. All right, so you guys cool? Let's do this. Gracias again to Tashunka and Amy. Right on. Orale. Let's go. We're out. How do I stop this? I forgot how to do this. Oh my god. All right. Come on back. We're gonna go live for a little bit. Appreciate you guys, man.